Boy,
we're learning.
What's up, boys and girls?
Oh, what is up, YouTube? After 30 minutes of technical difficulties, we're here hanging out again for another night with Addicted Fishing. Yep. We will be on Facebook later, hopefully. We don't know for sure. Facebook's had some technical
having some issues today.
It hasn't worked all. I heard it on the radio, even up here. It hasn't worked all day, and people were panicking. So
people
probably because they
Could you imagine
the Addicted
people
live
like
feed,
freaking
honestly.
out? No Facebook.
Their lives were over. If you guys are just
That's
now tuning
sad.
in and seeing us on
Really
YouTube,
sad.
and you don't know what this is, we're Addicted Fishing. We come on every single Wednesday. We talk about anything from salmon to trout to bass to steelhead to whatever it is we're chasing at that time. So make sure you tap that subscribe button. Every single Wednesday we're hanging out. Whoever just gave us a thumbs down to you as well.
It's probably because we're late, man.
Exactly.
We got a lot of you guys tuning in. What's up, James Taylor, Mr. Kaplan?
There he is. Sal's on the board.
What's up, Sal?
So who thinks that
Cody.
tonight should be an exclusive YouTube-only show? Who thinks that we should...
Tell us how you really feel.
Let's
Okay,
just see
well,
what-
they might not have a choice in that.
Yeah,
because
that's
Facebook
why
might not work anyway,
that's
so
why
it's not
I'm
gonna
saying
matter.
it. That's why I'm
It's not
saying
gonna
it.
matter. It might work out anyways.
We get more comments on that to stop going to Facebook than anything. I swear.
No, we do.
The internet turned 30. It's having growing pains. I turned 37 and had them, so I can totally relate to that.
No, Mike,
I
there's
didn't know you
no
were that
pizza
old.
here.
I'm
There is
super
no
old.
pizza.
I'm like your dad. I could be your dad.
Yeah, seriously,
maybe. How old are
Daddy.
you?
27.
No, okay.
Yeah, that would be weird.
That's how
We could be Hunter's dad.
Hey guys, how's the audio? It looks like it's looking good, but no one has said
nobody's
anything about it
commenting, yeah.
being
Make sure
low.
it's not blown out.
Who wants to win themselves an Okuma hat? Thanks so much for tuning in with us tonight. Share this out there. Share it to Facebook, wherever else that you guys like to share
What's
your
up,
social
Ryan?
Hey,
feeds
buddy.
to. We're going to randomly select one of you guys from the comments to one of you guys or gals, whatever randomly gets selected, to win an Okuma hat. So make sure you guys share it out there. Comment below. Let us know where you guys are tuning in from. It's always cool over on the Facebook side of things to see where everyone's tuning in from. We haven't really asked that much on YouTube. So comment. Let us know what city, state, country, or wherever you're tuning in from.
Super chat.
And super
share the
chat.
link.
You know, we don't even talk about that right now.
Yeah, first cast fishing. It should be about bank fishing for springers. We all don't have boats. You know, that's a great one that we should do here in the next upcoming weeks. But we have something even more important to talk about tonight besides bank fishing for springers. So, but thanks for the suggestion anyways. Yes, sir.
So let's talk about some update stuff going on first, Cam, before we kind of start kicking things off. All you guys that didn't know, we have a sale going on our website right now. We've started it last week. It's 20% off on every single item on our website. Hats, t-shirts, sweatshirts, addicted steelhead worms, all sorts of goodies on there. Looks like Clint just threw up the graphic. 20% off on our website. The code is ADX20. ADX20. You can see it right there on the screen. So head over to our website, addicted.fishing. Get yourself some addicted gear. It means a lot to us. We appreciate it.
Saskatoon, Saskatchewan.
What's up in Canada?
Hey,
Saskatoon.
McMinnville, Hillsboro.
Hey.
Dude, Jay
Santa
Hugh.
Rosa, California.
Jay Hugh up in Saskatchewan. Let me come up there and shoot a whitetail.
There you
Klamath
go.
Falls,
I got a guy
Eugene, Grand Haven,
for that. Ryan
Michigan.
Dallas, dude.
There's
He's
steelhead
on
in
it.
Grand Haven, Michigan.
Hashtag garden frugal.
Garden Frugal in the house. Yes, we got. You need to go to the other cam when you do that, bud. We need to do the Clint cam.
Well, one other
Cam.
announcement too. One more quick sales pitch, everybody on mustad.com. I believe they're still offering with the code addicted20.
Which reminds me, I've been getting so many damn questions on
Marlon
this
just
thing.
cut
Oh, we got to talk about the bag. Yes. But go on to mustad.com, you guys. Type in addicted fishing. And that'll get you 20% off anything that Mustad sells on that website. So whether it be salmon, trout, steelhead, sturgeon, whatever you need gear for in
Or
these bags.
This bag right here. So a ton of you guys, I know I posted this bag and I've been basically talking about this bag for a couple weeks now. It's not because I'm trying to sales pitch you on this bag. I don't give a shit if you buy this bag or not. I'm telling you about this bag because I love this bag. It's a dope bag, and let me show you why. For one, it's waterproof. For two, it has this cool little pocket on here that I think is the perfect spot for my leader. I'm always like trying to get my leader quickly and losing my leader and trying to find my leader. So I use this front pocket just to quickly get things. And then a bunch of you have asked me about the inside of it. It does not have pockets. It's just basically an open zipper bag here. But what's nice about it is you have, if you're smart about it, you don't need a bunch of compartments because your boxes are what you use to organize all your gear. And so, you know, you can basically organize all your... We all know I don't use those. Let's be honest. We all
Just
know.
because they were free.
Thanks. Shout out to Randy Bales for hooking me up with some beads that can sit in my bag and I can look at it. Check it out, guys. I got beads.
Make everybody
Look at
think
this
you actually
bead.
might fish.
Yeah.
So this, yeah, guys. So a bunch of you have asked me how I do it. This is how I do it, and I think a few of the other guys do it similar in this fashion. Basically, you just have your open dry bag. You can organize all your gear in. I have like a worm bag here that I put, all my different
Do we have any of the mustad worm bags?
worms here. Theirs is just a little small. I like to have this really big one, but the mustad bags work. Worm bags look.
Yeah, but they make a same little wallet type of deal.
It's a smaller one, yeah.
Yeah.
And then I just have like this is my random box. I'll throw some jigs in here, some scents. Got some spoons. Got a bunch of random floats. Got jig heads, all my different like random bobber kind of things in here, and then some beads. In my bag, there's leader, all sorts of other random things in the little worm bag. So I was getting a ton of questions on that. People messaging me, a couple different emails asking kind of how it was set up. So that's how I set up the bag. I think it freaking works great. And I've been beating the hell out of it for almost a month now, like just trying to like get it to rip or do something that would make it a bad bag. And it's just not. For the money, I'm going to just stand by it. For the money, you cannot find a better bag for that price. That's just all there is to it.
Well, especially at 20% off, too.
Yeah. Like Jordan said, I'm not trying to sales pitch you guys. I just wanted to let you know.
It's hard to find a good bag.
It's hard to
We've
find
all
a
done
good
it for
bag.
years.
So
there's one, Sims bag that was nice. That of course we all have one, and it works great. It's completely waterproof as that is. But
that's the thing.
You're gonna pay for it. You
That's
gotta have
the thing.
options.
There's a million companies out there that make awesome bags, and yes, we are partnered with Mustad. We're working with Mustad. And we love Mustad, so that's one of the reasons we started using the bag from the get-go, because it was we were using their hooks, and then we were like, oh man, they make these cool bags too. Let's check them out, So we ordered a couple of them.
It was no different than our relationship with the Kuma. I was using the Kuma reels.
Exactly.
They came out with those guide select rods. Like, try them. I'm like, oh gosh, do I really want? Come to find out, okay, once you try something, you can. It's real easy to sit there and be like, no, it's not gonna work, man. It's dumb. Like, or no, it doesn't work. It's garbage. Okay, that's fine. Until you go use it in any amount of time. And that's one thing that we do, because we, unlike lots of other little Facebook groups, we actually spend a lot of time on the damn water. A lot of time.
Between all the guides, there's
a lot of time. So we get the opportunity to test some of this stuff out, and we say, okay, I'm just going to run this for a month. I'm going to try this for a week. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. Like, that's where that all comes from, guys.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, looks like Clint's got the code up there, so it's mustad.fishing.
Yeah.
Like I said, we're partnered with them. That's the exclusive code for all you addicts out there if you want to take advantage. It's not just for the bags, it's the hooks and basically anything on the website. So that's the last thing we're going to say about that. Clint, pull it off the damn screen. Thank you,
Patrick
Clint.
Gaffney, thanks. I'm really glad that your 2-year-old likes watching us better than Nickelodeon.
That's
Awesome. Yeah, what's up, dude?
I'm really sorry that I dropped a curse bomb in there.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Grab that red leader feeder.
Perfect
People
segue,
ask
guys.
about that.
Yeah, leader feeder. All right.
On the
I watched
Yes.
you guys fish the same great state I fish in, Kentucky. Yep, Matthew, we know.
We're in Georgia.
We're in Georgia
Do
today.
you guys don't have any leader feeders, do you?
No, not today, bud.
So you guys,
No,
these
not
leader
with me.
feeders, Cam and all the guys have been using them. I
Same
honestly,
thing.
yeah,
You gotta use them.
you got to use them. So
Now it comes in the sexy red color.
we got red ones on our website. We partnered with Leader Feeder and made our own kind of exclusive color on them, so you can purchase these on the website as well. Leader feeders, yes, we have them in red. Is that what they were asking, Clint?
Yeah.
There they are.
Addicted.fishing also
Wife
falls
won't
into
let
the
me
sales.
order anymore.
I don't blame them.
So that's pretty much all the announcements I think I have.
All right, so we
Cam.
had 2 super chats real fast. One of the super chat was to let Clint, for $2 from Brandon Aggo, we appreciate it, was to let Clint talk about super chat. You missed
Clint,
it.
come on in.
I was dying about that, but we got another one right there. Can you guys give an update on native steel in Southwest Washington and other areas? Josh, I'll be more than happy to give you an update on that, because we've only got about 2 days left of the season. And I'm
Yeah.
going to tell you right now, this year was considerably better than last. The conditions were challenging. There's a lot of fish in the water. However, I think we kind of got a little bit cold. And a lot of the fish, some of the fish that I think were in some of the lower stretches of the rivers, I'm talking like tidewater stuff, I think they kind of shoved out, or they stopped. They hit that like thermal block where they just really shut down. Yeah, I understand you catch steelhead and ice flows, but I'm saying for most of the techniques and the stuff that we do out here, it got tough. for a few days, and then you wanted to make sure you're fishing.
Well, and these fish aren't used to it, so it sends them into like a weird thing where they're like, "Whoa!"
Exactly, exactly. So but I will say, as far as numbers of fish, this year absolutely have surpassed what I was catching last year, no question. Like, not even debate. But last year was also pretty shooty. So yeah, I mean, but there's still some fish small presentations. I really I'll give you a little more because, like I said, we got a few days left, Josh. I got off the beads about 3 or 4 weeks ago, and not because they're not effective, but with the conditions we had and a lot of the smaller fish, those smaller rivers, smaller flows, you need beads to work down runs, and a lot of those runs just don't exist in these conditions.
Yeah.
That were where the fish were holding.
Yeah.
So a lot of vertical, like bobber and jig, a lot of jig and bait were applicable. Got to realize some steelhead rivers can't.
So I floated a river. I floated a river during one of those super cold days, and it was humbling to say the least, because we would fish a hole, and I'm talking like we would put everything: jigs, beads, worms, jig and prawn, everything through this hole, spinners, spoons, literally everything. Then we would float over the hole, and there'd be 30 steelhead laying in it.
I want to put something into perspective.
Like, no joke. Like, you would look down, and me and Ben were like, "Oh my God, they're everywhere!" Like the bottom would be moving. And we'd be like, "How in the hell did they not bite?" So as much as that the only fish we hooked that day, I snagged. And I haven't snagged a winter steelhead in years. And I was just fishing super, super deep, and it just drug into him and snagged into his tail. The only fish we got that day, and that just puts into perspective how many were sitting in the holes, and they just wouldn't bite.
That particular week we fished. You fished the day before, and I fished the next day on a different river, but same region. And I was pulling my hair out. I went 1 for 2 that day. Floating, same thing. Running baits through there. Okay, they have to be there. Running through the hole. Okay, they're not there. They must not be there. Rowing over it and seeing 5 blast out. Next hole, seeing 4 blast out. Seeing 2 there, just everywhere. Like you said, I think they met a point in the river where they just did not want what we were throwing. And trust me, and then once I started seeing fish, I went through everything I had in the tackle box. I mean, I'm throwing eggs, small spawn sacks, beads. Could not get them to go. 2 days later, went 16 for 21. All those fish, the water temps came up. We got a little bit of sun. Those lows didn't go down, and I think.
And then you were also fishing clear, sunny conditions to cloudy and.
Yes, but what the big thing was, though, is that river actually had a temperature gauge on it. I was really paying attention, and the temperature gauge was like another 2.5 degrees Celsius higher than what it was, and all those fish snapped, and every one of them snapped. I mean, it was. I called so many bobbers down. We had like 3 doubles. Is insane, and so like to see like it go from that, and that was 2 days later. Just those 2 days made all the difference in the world. So yeah, the conditions are challenging, but I think the fish are there. I think there's definitely fish there, fish lower in the river. And we, even on that day where it was really good, we still needed to have a little bit of bait and scent presentation. Every worm that I threw had some of the addicted chrome blend on it. Every jig that I threw there had some bait on it too. Like, you needed that, but it worked. So anyways, Josh, I hope they give you up. We got a few days left on some of the wild rivers in Southwest. Hope you get out there and get them. There's some rivers that stay open too, and that should have some fish. And I would think with any kind of rain or snow melt, might get a little push of fish.
Well, I still have Friday off, dude. So are we fishing somewhere or what?
I'm fishing somewhere. I don't know if you're going, but I'm fishing somewhere.
What do you mean? I'm not invited anymore?
I gotta babysit. Dude, I'm on my bender. I'm on my wild steel.
This guy says, "Hey, I'm gonna have Friday off. Probably you should take Friday off." Now look what he just did. Threw me to the dirt.
Yep.
Right. Go away.
Threw me to the dirt for one of you guys, probably. Probably
one of you guys
called him.
Someone watching. Yeah. Oh, anyways, so. There you guys go. And of course, right now, too, the other big factor of that is springers. And this weekend, with the weather conditions and kind of what's going to happen, like, it's spring, dude.
It could be game.
There's going to be some springers dead this weekend. It's coming.
It's like 64 degrees or something on Friday.
It's coming. It's coming. Anyways, I think
Clint,
we need to get to what we're doing.
Yeah. First of all, though, Clint.
Thank you, Josh.
If you guys are seeing the live feed this week and the YouTube feed this week, give Clint a round of applause, please. He's working hard to make this look professional and cool and awesome for you guys. So hopefully you guys are liking all the cool little graphics and all that. So make sure you guys give Garden Frugal a shout out. Give him some claps. Clap up for Garden Frugal, everyone.
He's fighting these Facebook things. All right, guys. When we get back, we got an important announcement we're gonna do. We're gonna bring another one of our guests in there, but we got a little snippet of Addicted Life, I think, teed up. Oh, there's.
Whoa, there's Clint again. Really quick, though. We got to get to the other super chat Clint was, or to the other, the other question the guy asked.
Oh, you just wanted to have Clint do the shoot.
Yeah, so Clint is busy running the studio back there. So basically, guys, what Super Chat is, there's a little dollar symbol on the bottom of the screen. You don't have to use it if you don't want to, but if you want to throw some cash at us in support of the show, or just you want a question to make sure that it gets answered. Sometimes there's hundreds of questions going by and we miss them, so the Super Chat highlights them out there, and you can ask whatever question you want, and we'll make sure we get it answered, as long as you ain't asking us what river names are and stuff like that, because we ain't going to answer it.
I will if it's George.
We might in a PM though. You know, you could PM one of us.
Yeah,
we might.
I'd be acceptable for that.
Yeah, we might. If you PM us, we might throw you a bone.
People.
Exactly. So that's what Super Chat is. You don't have to use it. You can if you want. Dollar symbol down at the bottom. Thanks so much for tuning in, everyone. Tonight we're going to be talking this little guy right here.
Super important. Stay tuned.
Stay with us. We're going to play a little episode of Addicted Life that we
episode,
play every
just
single
intro.
Sunday. So check it out real quick. If you haven't, tap that subscribe button, please.
Big fatties.
My first surf perch right there in a long time. Ate the old sandworm. There's another one right there too.
Well, that's what I'm eating for dinner tonight.
2 more clams and I'm done, people. Dig that thing up with your hands. Go, 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 go.
For you, Mike. That's a fatty too. There's a few in there. These are small compared to where I go, but
We don't care, dude. We just need to get some fish on. We don't need to catch giants or anything.
you got bait. Get all they get. We got those little plastic worms, and that's a good size. Yeah, my girl's out there getting them right now. So.
Nice. Whacking.
Yeah. Just missed the big one too. Yeah. I mean, big on a pole like this feels pretty nice. You know?
Yeah.
Those feel like they're big.
Hey, what's up all you addicts out there? Welcome to another episode of Addicted Life. Today, we're in Long Beach and we're doing some surf perch fishing. And I myself am not that experienced at it. I've done it a little bit growing up and know a little bit about it, but I hit up the addicts and Rob was nice enough to come down and meet us and hang out and do some surf perch fishing. So you do this a lot down at the coast, don't you?
I do, absolutely, yeah.
And he already beat us here and was able to whack some before we even got here and got set up. So we'll pull those out and show you guys some more of those as the episode gets going, but we're gonna be doing some surf perching, some clamming. Rob's got his girlfriend, a couple of their addicts are gonna come and meet us. Should be a good episode. Make sure you guys tap that subscribe button if you haven't yet. Stay tuned.
And you're back.
All right, guys. So since we're terrible hosts, as always, we forgot that we needed to give away the Akuma hat. So with that said, I think we're gonna do a Akuma hat, and we're gonna do a couple of the Hatchery Wild decal stickers as well with this. But we're gonna talk a lot about that here in just a minute. I've got guest Dave Shappin here from Hatchery Wild Initiative. I guess you could call it that.
campaign.
The campaign. So we're
Yes,
gonna
sir.
talk a lot about that. But we need to get that winner up. Do we have that winner up? Do we have that winner up? Who is that? Sal. Haha. So now you're all selling river names. Yes, Sal. That is definitely RMO. Actually, for that, you want to go to any of the other local magazines or fishing report sites. There you go. Boom.
Boy,
Love you guys. Anyways,
Drop that mic.
we don't do it. Everybody else does. We don't care, but we blow them up. Anyway, so Sal, congratulations. You know the drill. Please email us at orders@addicted.fishing and we'll get you the hat and the decals. Thank you for the support. We appreciate it, guys. I'm going to read some comments here. So, with that said, tonight, Who's this guy? Who is this guy?
Who's the old guy?
Who is this guy?
So I feel like Grandpa Dave in here.
Yeah, we
among
gotta
all you
have
young
it.
pups.
Diversity.
Yeah, there you go. I like it. I like it. Yeah.
Perfect. Well, I'm not going to say that. Damn it. Anyways,
Thank you.
real quick, guys. So there's, for those of you guys who have gone to our bashes and those of you guys who have gone to our seminars and you've seen us talking about, hey, there's something that Fishing Addicts wants to get behind. There's something that we want to create. We want to kind of help like put some fish back in the water to basically create like our own group, right? And we have literally spent the last 3 or 4 months figuring out that between basically what we do with addicts, what I do with guiding, what Jordan does with guiding, what Marlon does with his family, dude, putting a group individually together for us is it's just not feasible to do it right. Anything worth doing is worth doing right. Not come to find out, but I guess in talking with these guys from Hatchery Wild, Coexist, campaign, everything that these guys want is exactly what we want. And so if you've gone to our bashes and you've heard us always say, hey, you guys, it might be 2 to 3 years down the road. It might be this, we're going to have something that we all need to get behind as addicts. And it is now abundantly clear that this right here is the answer. This initiative, this campaign is something that every sportsman in the Northwest needs to be paying attention to. There is no debate. The science is over.
Exactly.
It's game over now.
Anybody associated with fishing in any sense should be behind this campaign. Whether you're at a chamber of commerce, whether you've got a business that relies on anglers, motels, hotels, gas stations,
Legislative
tackle
that might
shops,
vote.
everybody.
Even the
should be on board.
Commonwealth. Even if you don't care about fishing, you should care enough about the world around you and about nature and what we've done to the Northwest as human beings and as populations and what needs to be given back to make it equal. You know what I mean? What
Exactly.
actually has to happen here. Science behind it and humanity in general,
Exactly.
So give us Dave. So Dave, you would be this is how new this stuff is, guys. And not that we haven't been talking since the Sportsman Show, because you guys launched this at the Portland Sportsman Show, correct?
We did, right about a month ago.
So give the guys that are listening out here today in YouTube world, and we're going to be doing this on Facebook, Lord willing that it actually works or whatever, but you're going to see a lot of this stuff for Hatchery Wild. But give people just the quick nuts and bolts, what you're trying to accomplish here, between like the war chest, to maybe fight some of these fish groups that are taking your fish away, utilizing some of the economics, utilizing the good science
Right.
that is saying that not all hatchery fish are bad.
Yeah.
Round it, 101.
So Hatchery Wild is a campaign to highlight the importance of hatcheries. If you think about it, think about your favorite.
Got it.
You got that. Your favorite fishery out there, and our hatcheries involved in that, right? So you're looking at winter steelhead, you're looking at springers, you're looking at summer fish. The fish you're taking home were all produced in a hatchery, and for years we've been told that hatchery fish are bad for wild fish. And I got to admit, I drank that Kool-Aid. Back when I was as young as you guys were, it's all about protecting our wild fish. And we were told that one of the things we need to do is reduce or eliminate the use of hatchery fish because they're detrimental to our wild fish. Well, here we are 30 years later, and we've seen this. You guys that are fishing every day, you've seen it out there. The promise was we're going to reduce the number of hatchery fish that are being planted, and in some cases eliminate them totally, and we'll see a rebound of our wild fish. Did you see a rebound of your wild fish?
Not at all.
Goes without saying. So that shows you right there.
even on
And
the- even on the systems with the most-
Let me back you up, because you didn't see a rebound of wild fish, because last I checked, there's still a house every 30 feet going up a river. Portland still exists. Logging does still exist. Predation that is being used at different levels, or predation that's at levels that shouldn't be natural behind hydropowered projects exist. All the other problems that were a detriment to those wild fish still exist.
Exactly.
But you got rid of hatchery fish, and so did the wild fish come back?
No.
No.
And the truth of the matter is that hatcheries, the reason hatcheries are there is to mitigate for those other problems that have resulted in the decline of our wild fish. So because we've got poor logging practices, we got dams, we got water pollution, we got all that stuff going on. We had to use hatcheries in order to have fisheries to catch.
We had to use them in the first place.
Right. So
But 30 years ago, they had that decision where they could either use a hatchery and utilize wild stock, or they could create stocks of fish, especially in the steelhead side,
right.
that would be completely separate. And basically, what happened there?
Yeah.
Because
So
now, because that's the roadblock we've ran into now. So nuts and bolts on that one.
and that's what's really given hatchery fish the bad name. So they had these segregated hatchery programs where you were taking Alcee fish, Skamania fish, and they were basically domesticated year
It was
after
like a
year.
salmon bank.
Yeah, year after
basically.
year after year, these fish were interbred, and they worked good in hatcheries because they seemed to thrive in that kind of an environment. But they were not good because the genetics don't match up with the wild stocks in our rivers. So it wasn't a good match. And you've all seen that, right?
Yeah.
So you're catching these 12, 15-pound wild fish, and then you're getting these little 4 and 5 pound hatchery
best.
dinks, and you're going, what's up with this? So it's obvious that's not working. But now with the advent of broodstock programs, we've got these integrated programs where you're bringing wild fish in, raising them initially in a hatchery, and then releasing them out into the wild. And how's that working for us?
It completely creates a
it's
variable for the genetic pool. It constantly changes when they use it. And you can see one aspect I saw of it, if you look back at when we lost a lot of these fish, when a lot of these lawsuits happened, it was at one of the lowest economic points in the U.S. in 35, 40 years. And so it's a no-brainer as to why I see they cut these fundings and they came up with these coalitions and these groups to knock these. It saved a lot of people money in the long run. It saved the state and it saved federal dollars, lots and lots of money. But now the economy is good. People want to fish, especially in the Northwest. We want to see our fisheries back, and I think this is luckily a way to use the power of the fishermen to go forth and get what we want and what the river should have. You know, we're at that point now in the Northwest where we can afford to do this. We should be doing this. And the science is there. We don't take fish from a giant bank anymore and just dump them in the river off of a bridge somewhere.
Perfect
They're
segue.
raised from that river, from those genetics, and put back in to, introduce.
You're using the real genetics of the river.
We didn't do that 100 years ago. And it wasn't good. We can all agree.
Yeah. So what's interesting is we've been told, and you mentioned this earlier about the science has told us that hatchery fish are bad. Well, now there's new science that shows us that hatchery fish are either good for wild fish or there's no impact on the wild fish. So we were able to identify 22 studies that looked at this issue directly. And out of those 22 studies, 14 of them say either hatchery fish are good for wild fish. Now, how's that for being crazy and different than what you're used to? Or there was no effect at the population level. So almost 2 to 1 of the science that's out there says that hatchery fish are not the problem. And we've known it anecdotally.
And which is why if people, I've always say this expression that when you see these arguments come over, I always say it's called pick your science arguments, because
Exactly.
literally it is pick your science. Like you go to a judge, you go to a committee that doesn't understand anything about, and you run like 2 studies that use an indicator stock that was maybe 40 fish total, and they
Right.
say, oh, look at this, but you have all these others, and you show them that. You don't show them the other studies that are region-wide. You don't show them the success of basically of
Smoke
what
and
the
mirrors.
North Coast. You don't show them the success of what goes on in Tillamook. You don't
Right.
show them the success of what the tribes are using out there, folks. And guess what? Basically, that's what those guys are doing.
Exactly.
That's why you're seeing a lot of episodes with a whole lot of fish on them that can't be blamed on a bad ocean.
Well, and that's
I guess.
what I kept joking when we were up there.
Let me
Go
finish.
ahead, yeah.
At the end of the day, you see results, and these programs have been in existence for how long? How long has Jack been doing those?
The broodstock programs,
Yeah.
they've been around probably 20 years, but really in full force for the last 12, 15 years.
But like even some, but what Jack was explaining is that he took
Jack Smith is who he's talking about.
Yeah, it took 10, 12 years to kind of get them
Oh, yeah.
going in the right direction,
Yeah, yeah.
because basically instead of using that different stock of fish for steelhead and keep regenning it out of those hatchery fish, you basically had to get permission to start grabbing wild fish and putting them in the hatchery. But
Yeah.
then you're passing the right genetics, you're passing quality fish, You know,
And it creates diversity.
Well,
They get different fish every year.
It's not you're keeping. Yeah, but
You know
you're
what I mean,
keeping
there's
the
no
genetics
interbreeding.
of that river, and you're using the hatchery program to help wild fish,
Yeah.
to help keep good numbers of those genetics there.
And wild broodstock programs have been so successful that even the folks that are, totally anti-hatchery are starting to see the merits of the broodstock programs, and they're being used now to reestablish runs where they're extinct or severely.
Well, yeah,
They
I mean,
realize,
people want to
the brooder likes to grab flies, huh?
Yeah. Well, I mean, the thing about it is too is like you look, if hatcheries are all bad, like the sockeye that they got coming back to Redfish Lake or some example, they started with 4.
Right.
I mean,
right.
they pulled them all in the hatchery and said, "Oh, we got to do that."
They were lucky they had male and female.
Right. They didn't end up with
one or the other.
They didn't end up with $4 in a sausage party, huh?
That'd have been ugly. So the Hatchery Wild Coexist campaign, what this is all about is providing information to those that are interested. So we've developed a very robust website that has the information there. And what we're doing is encouraging people to actually read, learn, and understand what's going on and make your own decisions, right? And we think we know what the answer is, but we think it's important that people know the facts, understand the science, and make good, sound decisions based on that information.
And I love to see this. And Christopher Calhoun, you're right. I would pay $500 a year for a license if there were fish in good numbers. I saw Josh Harles, you were right about the sports and the economics of it. Like, no, you're right. We are the most underutilized group of people literally just sitting out there in the wings. And so I'm seeing a lot of these other guys, and I'm seeing some river names, and I'm going to avoid them. But one big thing that I always try to stress out, like these guys were born and bred right out of the North Coast Rendezvous, right?
Right.
So
Yep.
you guys, Tillamook area streams, that's where
35 years ago we started.
35 years ago. And so your guys' is
you weren't even a glimmer in your daddy's eye yet.
Right.
So
bear with me. Let's try and I'll pull up the website since you just talked
okay,
about
yeah.
it. Let me try this.
Okay, hold on, guys. Bear with us.
Here we go. Got a beautiful big wild steelhead right there.
Yeah, so you guys go, please. What's the website, Clint? Just to make me not...
www.hatchery-wild-coexist.com.
Hatchery.wild.
Hatchery-wild. Hatchery.
Marlon's shaking his head. We're going to change that website, folks.
Hatchery-wild-coexist. HWC. Hatchery Wild Coexist.
Do you guys have an Instagram or Facebook?
We do.
James Taylor asked the question.
We've got them both. So we'd encourage folks to go to our Facebook page. But where you're really going to find the nuts and bolts information is on that webpage. And we try to make it as simple as possible. So it's in frequently asked question form.
Very awesome. So one thing, guys, I want to kind of stress is that the pendulum has swung one way with a lot of the wild fish groups and a lot of the science, and that's been the narrative. That's been, but because of that advocacy, very small advocacy, mind you, and because, like you said, the opportunity for maybe some states to allocate fundings elsewhere, besides hatchery fish or the sportsmen that pay for it, we've really. That science has kind of taken hold, but now that pendulum's kind of starting to swing back the other way. So a lot of this campaign is about educating anglers. It's going to be getting people involved. I see a couple questions there about getting broodstock programs started, and I love it because that's the kind of attitude the sports guys need. We need fish to catch. I understand running out and pounding down the doors. Well, we need to get this going. It's only going to fit in certain regions. Right. It's only going to fit in certain locales, but the big thing is that we're changing people's perception that the hatchery fish aren't bad. You start there, then we start talking. We've got a meeting set up in May where we're going to be talking to some of the state legislators on our side that we're going to be able to present some of this hard ground information. We're going to pound it into their heads that these hatchery fish aren't bad, and the economics behind it, guys. Get involved. Go to hatchery-wild-coexist.com. Sign up for the newsletter and start getting yourselves educated and start kind of passing this information around. That is what we need you guys to do. Go to Facebook, share their page. We need to start building a platform that we can start sending information to you guys because these guys are also... Well, why don't you go into that as far as the war chest and just some of the other... the 3 basic initiatives that this campaign is
Yeah, so the three major objectives are, one is to continue the research. So recently, and many folks have heard about the Ian Couture study on the Clackamas River. So the Clackamas River used to have one of the best summer steelhead runs in the state of Oregon, arguably in the Northwest. But because of an endangered wild winter steelhead run, the state decided that they needed to quit planting summer steelhead to protect those endangered wild steelhead. What was the outcome of that?
I don't get to fish it for steelhead.
There's no steelhead.
So yeah, exactly.
Clint,
What
I see
happened
it.
was they
Just keep it up there.
destroyed, they eliminated that outstanding summer steelhead run, and there was no rebound, there was no benefit to the wild fish. So we've got to continue those kinds of studies because Ian showed scientifically, that's always the pushback that we get from the agencies is, well, the best science shows. Well, now the best science is showing that there's no impact of hatchery fish on wild fish. So we have more studies in the works. That costs money, and it takes a lot of time. It's about a 2-year process to get those studies done, depending on the availability of the data. If you actually have to go out and do the field work, it can take 4 or 5 years and very expensive. The second is advocacy. So we need to go out and advocate for our hatcheries, right? A lot of them have been allowed to go into disrepair. Not a big deal, right? But how many fish have you guys lost in your hatcheries in Washington this year? Would you have a million fish die off?
Yeah.
And
in Oregon.
That's not the only one.
Main
Right,
central.
and it's because they haven't been a priority. So they've gone into disrepair. Well, we've got to get out there and advocate on behalf of our hatcheries
And
and,
when you're saying-
improving the hatchery programs, and that's where the Broodstock
And
program.
one way you guys are personally doing it is like you guys, you said, you were telling me today, you were down in Salem, banging on doors, talking to your legislatures. You guys actually have
150, 200 guys showed
One
up
thing
to
that these guys can do, that one thing that I know that I would not be able to do, or Marlon or any of us from Fishing Acts be able to do, is these guys are pretty ingrained into the state and federal level politics. That one thing that we're not.
And that's key.
That's key. We're really good at getting a bunch of people's attention. These guys are really good at taking it home. So with that said, that's what you guys were doing today. So
Right.
by advocating to those guys, get you funding for hatcheries.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And the Lieberg hatchery today was the big one
Lieberg
that we were
hatchery.
talking about. And that's huge. Anybody that fishes springers on the Willamette system. So we talked about additional research. We've talked about advocacy. And then the third one that we're focused on is a defense fund. There's a lot of these lawsuits that are going on out there. And unfortunately, our agencies aren't in a position to really defend against those.
Right.
So they just lay down.
Well, the state goes, well, I don't want to spend $10,000
Right.
fighting this, and then we can save $200,000 on not planting your fish.
Exactly. So we need to engage and make sure that when these frivolous lawsuits get presented, that there's somebody there to say, wait a minute, we need to take a harder look at this.
Dude, it's incredibly important, guys. And at the end of the day, this is a campaign that is going to put more fish back in the waters. And like you said, when you actually, and I did see one quick question that I did want to bring up. Sal, I'm going to answer that. Well, Sal will answer questions real quick. So in the same river, the fish and eggs, if they weren't clipped, could anyone differentiate a hatchery brooder versus a native? How could hatcheries be that bad if so? I think what he's trying to ask is so when you do a broodstock program and you bring 2 wild fish into a hatchery and you spawn them, you're going to clip their offspring, correct?
Correct.
All of them? I'm just leaving.
Well, that's the goal. Yeah.
That's the goal. So you clip all their fish. You let those fish go out. But since those parents were true wild fish that were brought in there, that F1, that they were those fish are made for that basin, right? Or that river or that creek. You bring those fish in, they create parents, and those fish go out. You clip them, but they go out and they come back. And they either get caught by anglers, or the other thing is that if we don't catch them all, they go and spawn in the gravel.
Right.
But when those fish spawn in the gravel, because they were F1 parents, or excuse me, that's how you say that, right? Because those fish, when they spawn in the gravel, they do not hurt the genetics of the river like a fish that's been bred 4 or 5 different times over the hatchery, like these segregated stocks, and then those ones meet the gravel because the rate of return is garbage.
Exactly.
So not only are you going to create fish that are good for the system, that are going to help boost those wild, because you're going to have you're going to have some
Right.
fish meet the gravel.
Right.
Like, doesn't matter where steelhead stray.
that's the
Shocking
goal.
news.
That's a good thing.
Shocking news, because if steelhead don't stray, there'd be a lot of dead rivers out there right now. Right? So, yeah. So you have clip, but you don't hurt the fish. And
blow up in the 80s?
and right, yeah, one of them blew up in the 80s. So I don't know what happened there. I think in 80. But anyways, your fish, you get those fish back, they spawn, and they don't hurt you. Like, they don't hurt you.
They improve.
Yeah, so an example, we've been talking about the research earlier, and one of the things that the anti-hatchery folks will tell you is you take these broodstock fish. So you take 2 wild parents, and you do the whole spawning thing, and then you raise those juveniles.
Real fast, but do you kill the fish that spawn?
No, they're released back into the wild.
Crazy facts for steelheaders
Yeah,
out
yeah.
there, guys.
Yeah,
just to let you know. I see some very basic
There's a lot of people
questions.
that probably have no clue.
Yeah, that's the
what
other thing. When you
happens, so-
spawn these wild fish,
I have a question.
when you spawn these fish, you don't kill them.
No,
Not like
they're
salmon.
live
Put 'em
spawn.
back.
Go right back in the river again. So anyway, so again, we start with 2 wild parents. We spawn them artificially. We
Yes, Josh.
raise their juvenile
Yes.
their offspring in the hatchery. And one of the things the anti-hatchery folks will say, well, you changed the genetics. You've messed up the genetics now of those wild fish. And it can be shown that just out of that 6 months that they spend in the hatchery environment does mess with their genetics. But what they fail to tell you is that when those fish come back and spawn again, the genetics go right back to where they
Does
were.
it hurt you? So no,
Right.
Josh. The answer to your question is: so is broodstock hatchery a solution to the genetic issue? Absolutely.
Well said.
All right, you ready for my question?
Let's hear it, Marlon. Let's be good.
He's been working on this for a half hour. It's going to be a showstopper.
down.
Showstopper right here.
Let's hear it, bud.
Drum roll.
One of the biggest things that I hear that people try to fight on, especially in a lot of our videos that we've put out recently where we've captured broodstock fish and we've taken them, the biggest thing that you see that people will basically try to fight you on is why not let that fish just go do his thing in the gravel? Why are you taking him and removing him from the river? Why can't he just go do that naturally himself and produce more fish naturally than what you could produce in a shitty environment? And then you lose, I mean, you see places what happens if your water heats up and then you lose all those fish? Then you taking that fish out of the river and spawning him was for nothing.
I want to answer that question because what you said, you talked about bringing them into a shitty environment. Why did we put the hatcheries there to begin with?
Right.
You did not get rid of the development, so you put hatcheries there to
That's
begin
not
with.
answering the question.
It
I'm
is
gonna
a-
play devil's advocate.
it is
That's not
answering the question.
Answer.
And you're only allowed to
Could
take
that fish not spawn in the wild?
if it did, and if it was being successful, you wouldn't have hatcheries. If it was being
Considering-
successful, we would not be having this discussion right now. But it's not, because you have development. You have all these other issues that we've put on those river systems. So when you take 2 wild parents and you spawn them in the hatcheries, you essentially get 100%
I'm playing
of the
devil's advocate
smolts.
though. You're not answering the question. So
But
then
you
what
don't
did is you
take
took example.
all the wild fish. You don't
You don't
put
take all of them.
you
but
don't put
what's
all your
on
eggs
a
in one
bad
basket.
year, for example, say you have a bad year.
Yep.
I'm just playing devil's advocate.
I'm
I
gonna,
want the
you're
hard
not
question.
letting me answer the question
You're
because
not answering the question.
I am
You're
answering it.
political
You're
now.
letting me go there. Listen, if you took all the wild fish in the hatchery, no, that'd be terrible. All eggs in one basket. Hatchery has a pump fail. You kill the whole run.
Right.
No, you're still only allowed to impact and to take only still a percentage of that. So instead of having, and to the opposite end of that, let's say you had all the fish in the river and you had a catastrophic landslide and something happened, an oil spill. I don't know. Something that killed the whole river. Then you're backing yourself up because you actually have the good genetic in the hatchery. So you're not putting all your eggs in one basket. Did that answer your question?
What I would say is along the same lines is there's.
Did that answer? Is that what you were getting at, Marlon?
Exactly what I was getting at.
Yeah, because we had 5.6 million hatchery fish die at the blink in a minute. You don't put all your wild fish in hatchery. It's crazy, but you can
So
help
another
them
argument-
out.
Another to even take that further, what people will say is, well, then on bad years like this, where you have very, very few wild fish returning, and then you're taking a percentage of those wild fish that could naturally spawn.
But now those wild
In
fish,
terrible
instead of their
conditions.
egg to smolt survival being
They're
20%.
not necessarily bad conditions though, because it all depends on the year.
Well, let me
There's
tell
been
you-
times that in Southwest Washington, in rivers right in our own backyard, we've seen absolutely incredible, insane runs with no hatchery fish planted in rivers. absolutely insane, never been touched with a hatchery fish.
That's
Well,
very
that's
true.
steelhead
Look at
for
the
you.
But then you
but-
see years like this, those same rivers right now,
right.
Those
It's
same
no
rivers
different.
right now
It's
don't
no
have
different than
any
what
fish.
it's no different than what the tribes
Can't even
do,
hook one
because the
you fish
tribes
4 days
are
in a row.
because the tribes are going to plant enough fish to where it can absorb a bad year.
Right.
That's the difference. We're not putting out fish in numbers that when we have a bad year and we have those bad ocean scary conditions, that we're not backing that up.
Yeah, we're not managing for abundance.
We're managing for, hey guys, we put 100,000 smolts out. Who gives a crap if they
Yeah,
all live?
exactly.
Who cares if they come back? Because I'm not losing my job. I don't care.
Exactly. So, and that's front and center when it comes to our campaign. We want abundant and healthy fisheries. So we want plenty of fish for everybody to catch. You know, we get into all these political games. Should the fish be harvested commercially, or should they be harvested by sports? If we've got enough fish out there, nobody's going to give a rat's patootie whether they're being harvested commercially or by sports. As long as we're getting what we need and what we want, everybody's going to be happy. So that goes away. The healthy part of it is we don't want to do anything that's going to be negative towards wild fish. This is not an anti-wild fish campaign. We still need to protect our wild fish.
And really,
and it's being shown that we can enhance those fisheries through proper hatchery programs. And that's the goal.
You're using the hatchery to help the wild populations that are going to spawn in the gravel. And everywhere that these programs have occurred, you have sustainable, abundant, robust fisheries. Even on down years.
Yeah.
I mean, even though it's like a down year, like some of those rivers that you guys are fishing, they still have plenty of fish in it. Even though the conditions are tough, they probably don't have them at the level that we'd all like to see them.
Exactly.
But they're stronger than anything else going on. They're stronger than the rivers there where we went, nope, we're going to take all the hatchery fish out and see what happens, boys.
Well, and you think about it too. Think about the old time hatchery programs that I grew up fishing on. Those fish had come in on Thanksgiving and they were done and gone by Christmas. There weren't any fish left to catch.
Real fast. Leon Dog, that is a good point. It has nothing to do with planting more fish. It's all about the quality of fish planted. And that is definitely getting to the heart of the issue.
Yep. Yeah.
However, removing a lot of the segregated stock and then not implementing broodstock programs behind that does not get you a net benefit.
Yeah.
You need to be planting those fish at a robust number so you can plan for the down years.
And if you look
that's what was missed, I think, a few years ago.
Yeah, and if you look at what's happened with these hatchery programs, again, it's kind of where we started with this whole thing. Where they used to plant 300,000, 350,000 fish into one of those northern Oregon coastal streams, because we're not supposed to mention names here.
You can here because I don't care.
And now they're down to 100, 150,000 fish that are being planted. Now, true, you get a higher return on those broodstock fish, probably 5
more
and
bang
even
for the buck.
Yeah, but still, when you're cutting out half of your planting, that's going to have a dramatic impact on the number of fish you have to catch.
Regardless if you have a 4% of return or 0.5% of return.
So instead of 300,000, 350,000, you plant 150,000. Let's go back to the 350,000 and
the
have
fish
the
available.
broodstock fish. So they're quality fish. You get a higher percentage of return.
Yeah, and and ultimately that's really, as far as we're concerned, as far as
Abundant
fishermen,
and healthy.
that is the huge thing. And so going back to planting the fish, it's about the quality of the fish.
Right.
Those wild broodstock fish return at rates that far surpass those segregated early stocks that we've done, especially when it comes to steelhead.
5, 7, sometimes
Yes,
10%.
Marlon. He has his hand up.
10
He's-
times.
So on rivers where they currently stock abundant amounts of hatchery fish,
Would you call it abundant though? So I'm gonna stop you.
there's places where they put
Okay, go on.
300,000
Yeah.
Okay.
in our local rivers
Right.
that get nothing back. What's happening
Are
there?
you talking how locally? Give me a river.
Your backyard.
Which one?
Where's the summer fish that they put in there that don't return? There's like hundreds of thousands, and yeah, they return, but they return for as many as they put in there. It's a joke.
What?
Do you want the North Fork of the Lewis River every
They don't
single
put
year?
three.
They put yes, they do.
La, 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 la,
225,000
la, la.
last year. They put 275,000 the year before that. Yes, they do. Look at the small plants.
Where are they getting-
summer steelhead? I don't know.
Okay.
Look at the small plants. So why aren't those fish returning?
No idea.
No idea.
So that's.
Are they getting them from wild broodstock? Or are they getting them from a returned hatchery?
I don't know.
Which I'm guessing they're. I mean,
Well,
okay,
what
so
I'm saying is
are they getting
that's
wild
not
broods?
in anymore
Hold on,
either.
I'm trying to answer this. Are they getting wild broodstock from Lewis River Summers? Or are they just
You're the one working with Pacific Corp.
reprocreate? Well, they don't
tell
do,
me.
they don't do summer steelhead. But are they just reprocreating the summer steelhead hatchery fish that they've had for the last 40 years?
Right.
It's a plain example.
Because that's what I
With
mean.
the
That's
wild
the
fish, yeah.
arguments that people get are going to. This is what people are.
They're
doing.
not
I already see
taking
it. I see it
wild
every day.
summer steelhead out of that river.
Those
and
comments
broodstock.
though are
They
very.
Those
say
are
they
not
don't even
doing-
have their. When was
Exactly.
the last time you caught one in there?
Point exactly. Thank you. They don't exist. So they're taking same hatchery over and over and over and over and over again, which is the same problem we've run into with all our.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Skamania.
That's what I was trying to ask you. I'm like, okay, where are you finding wild? Where are you finding them?
What about years that hundreds of thousands, like tons of them returned?
I think you have good years and bad years, but you got to realize 300,000 on a crappy returning. 300,000 on a crappy returning run on a good ocean year is going to still get you good results.
Right.
On a bad ocean year, it's not going to get you shit.
Right.
Case in point, last 3 years.
Right.
I mean,
And so we need-
but if you had that 300,000 that you're talking about, if they returned at a stronger rate on those good years, it would be gangbusters. But on your bad year, it'd still be pretty darn good too because you have a good rate of return.
Exactly. That's exactly the
At
point.
237,000.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't think there's no wilds. There's no wilds in there in the summer. So like that's a hatchery run over and over and over.
Summers are definitely one of the most sensitive to be talking broodstock. You know what I mean? Summer steelhead, I would say.
Well, I mean, I don't even know how you. I mean, I don't
There's a
know how
lot
you
of
do it as
rivers
far as
that
when they
historically
arrive.
don't
I mean,
have a lot of
What
summer.
about summer steelhead broodstock? I mean, is
Are
it
they
a?
doing that on the other river?
Well, further up in the Columbia system, I know they do a lot of that in Idaho and Washington.
Okay, I can see.
What
I can
about
understand in
Heaven Gray? What about Heaven
Idaho.
Gray?
I don't know.
I'm
I'd have
sure
to
they
defer.
can't touch.
Because
The thing is,
they
with the
get
laws
ton-
in
they
place
get
now,
tons of summer steelhead back to that stream.
I don't think they do because with the
Lots.
laws in place on that stream in
They got
particular,
rid of those. We're getting lost
they're
in
very
these guys.
mitigated on that. There's a lot of restrictions. They
Going
can't
down a
touch
rabbit hole.
those
No,
fish
I
like
mean-
we have been able to because
Yeah.
it all depends
I
on
know.
how many return. Right now, we don't just get to use as many as we feasibly
I don't know
can.
about that 208 angler. Anyways, if he's talking about my river, he said the flows are not right for them to return. No, they can return as
I've just
willy
always
nilly
been
as they
curious
want.
about
Yeah.
that because it seems like
No,
there's
but
always
like I
this
said,
narrative, there's
but the
always
difference-
this narrative about
but you're
putting
talking-
more fish in, and a lot of times
You're not
you
talking
see
the
that, it
same
doesn't
fish
do
though.
anything.
The 300,000 you're talking about, you might only get a 0.5% of return.
Right.
But if you had 300,000 that got a 4% return, which would be 8 times that, which is what the levels that you're seeing. You're seeing the bottom of the barrel is a 0.5%. The best is sometimes 4. You hear anything higher than that? I always kind of hear that 4 number.
Yeah.
I've heard 6,
For
but
segregated
no, for your broodstock stuff.
broodstock, I've heard higher.
Yeah. So either way, but 4%. So that's 8 times more fish. But if that 300,000 was doing a half, it'd be crappy, but it'd look a hell of a lot better,
Yeah.
even on a bad year.
And that's it. We got to
It's
manage.
rate of return.
We-
and
we-
like one guy hit it on the head. He's like, it's not about how many you plant; it's the quality of fish you plant. So if those 300,000 that we were planting were quality, you'd get a hell of a lot more back, especially on a bad year.
Bag for the buck. Yeah,
Bang for the buck.
We got to manage for the down years, not manage for the up years.
Yep.
So when the up years come, it is off the hook fishing. Off the hook fishing.
Yeah, it's funny to think. You think back to these times and
We went off on a tangent. I'm so sorry, guys.
but
But no, it was a
that's what
great
this is all
question.
about.
It's a great question, but at the end of the day, fill that in.
Hatchery-wild-coexist.com.
Yes, sir.
Check out the information, and again, make your own opinion based on the facts. We're not telling you what's right or wrong. What we're trying to do is give you the best information we can so you can make your own decision. And if you believe what obviously the three of us believe, then engage, help us move the ball. That's what needs to happen.
Brady Taylor, what's funny about that though is I don't think that river that you
There's
and I
8%,
most fish a long
8%
time.
on
Actually, I
broods.
saw Evan too, but Brady, I want to comment on that. No, you're right. They do keep getting smaller and smaller and smaller, and yeah, that's
Josh, the answer to your question is yes.
Josh who.
Josh Harrell, broodstock
Oh, yeah.
increases the return ratio.
If you
Yes.
guys don't think that broodstock increases return river, look at all your steelhead situations right now and go look at some of the situations up at the tribes. And don't forget that they gill net that river 6 days a week.
Amazing.
Well, we can't forget, you guys. We got here because of
And there's
laziness.
still so many fish.
You know, we got here because of laziness.
They do. They plan for the bad year. It's pretty good bad year.
River and they're not big.
Yeah, they do a
Yeah,
lot
they
of things
also
different.
house them for 2 years.
Yep.
They don't even release a steelhead until it's 2 years old.
Yep.
That's a major effect.
Hashtag results.
That's a catchable trout in most places right
Yeah.
there.
Oh, I got a story for that. Anyways,
Steelhead.
Yep. There's a lot of things. If anything, this is going to shed light. This campaign is going to shed a light on successful programs that are being done right now around the state.
Yep.
That 90% of the other areas are not being done. And you guys that all get tired of all the kokanee fishermen at the lakes in the wintertime, or get tired of all the walleye getting beat up in the river. And I mean, this is something that
Or get tired of everybody at your favorite hole.
everybody at your favorite river. Like, this is a program that needs to be implemented everywhere to spread the anglers out, put more fish in the water. Period.
Exactly. Abundant and healthy fisheries. Hatchery-wild.
Let's hear any more questions. You guys, I know a lot of you guys fired up some really good questions. Let's do a little, maybe 5 minutes. Marlon, what do you want to do here, bud? Nice talking to you. What do you want to do here? Do some round robin on some questions here.
Are we
And
gonna try to go Facebook?
It ain't working. Facebook is down.
Facebook is down, so you guys got us tonight.
All you old
Perfect,
folks, what are you going to do without Facebook?
I got a good question here that I saw somebody post a long time ago. How can we get all these anti-hatchery groups on board with us? I felt like that was a very proper question. You know, how do you, instead of fighting each other, all having the same goal in mind, how do we get everybody else on board? And again, my view of it, the way these very small groups that have sustained a lot of power were formed, were to save the states and the federal government a lot of money in the long run, and they used science to get what they wanted, in a way. And so at this point, like our guest last week was talking about where he's guiding up in the Northwest, the Washington coast, they can't even get people to volunteer to help get the broodstock fish. This is a big problem that has been a result of laziness, people not fighting for what we wanted. So this is an incredible initiative to be able to get behind and help somebody, and make sure your money goes to the same place. Chris mentioned I'd give $500 for my license, but you know, sometimes
There's
Chris,
fish to catch.
the thing about that is that money might not be going to the right place.
Right.
Because as of now, it goes to law enforcement, a couple of fish, and it pays somebody at the hatchery's job. It doesn't do anything. The money doesn't help put more fish. It just sustains it. So if we did, that's always been my biggest fear, is to see the U.S. and the Northwest move, and you see it on the East Coast a lot.
Yeah.
Move towards this European style of fishing. Yeah, you'd give $500, but guess what? It's $550 next year, and then next thing, 10 years from now, your kid's paying $20,000 to go fish down at the Hatchery Creek, bud. And that's where we. This is the Northwest. It's freedom. It's public lands. So what we have to do is get behind groups that put these fish in the river for the greater cause and for the fish themselves, not for a price tag. Yes, we donate to this cause, but it does the work, longevity, that we need it to without us constantly forking out all this money.
Changes the whole narrative, the whole way of people's thinking. And like I said, you guys, we're going to fight this at a grassroots level, but these guys are going to fight this at a legislative level, at a federal level. Like, we're going to attack this on all fronts. And like I said, everything in here is 95, and I'm going to say that because there's 5% of you guys out there are idiots. Just kidding. But this is going to be for 95% of you guys out there that you guys can get behind.
Yeah, so to take a swing at the question, first, I'm not going to badmouth the wild fish groups because I think they're trying to do the right thing. Anybody, any group that's out there trying to save wild fish, I'm all for that. Again, I've been doing that all my adult life, and I think that's a noble cause and the right thing to do. But you can't do that with the exclusion of providing opportunity for folks to enjoy these fisheries, right? So there's got to be fish out there for people to catch and consume. In Oregon, 42% of ODF&W's budget comes from angling licenses. And if you can't go out and catch fish, take fish home and eat them, chances are you're not going to go fishing. What we don't want is a whole bunch of wild fish museums. That's not going to work.
You can
for
see them
us.
on the spawning reds, all 3 of them.
Pretty soon you'll have to pay for that.
Right. So I think
Nature trail access.
Yeah, exactly.
what we would like to see happen
pay-
again, as if you look at the studies that were the basis for a lot of these decisions to eliminate or reduce hatchery plantings, that's old science. I mean, that's 10, 20-year-old science. The new studies that we're starting to see the results of now are giving much different results. And those results are saying that hatchery fish are not necessarily bad for wild fish, particularly at the population level. And in some instances, hatchery fish are actually good for wild fish populations.
These
and
hatchery fish.
Right. Well, the broodstock.
Yes.
Yeah, it's got to be the proper program. And we're starting to see that narrative, that dialogue, being injected into the conversation now with those wild fish groups. So I think it comes down to just getting better science, and that's one of the goals of this campaign.
My favorite one
is to improve the science.
My favorite one too is like, if hatchery fish are so bad, then why are the states advocating for 50 more millions to get plant to feed some starving orcas?
There you go.
I mean, like, come on, guys, let's think about this here. So, like, they're not. I think it's just, you have to look at it like, okay, you know, where, like you said, where's the money kind of getting played out? Where's the easy cop outs? Like, no, it's time to put these guys to work. This will do it.
Yeah.
That's the goal.
Finally. Thank you, sir.
You betcha, absolutely.
We're super excited about that. I got one more question here that I want to get to. A couple more questions that you guys want to get to, because this is a real important live feed. We're gonna
you're my guy. I agree with you 100%.
Yes, sir.
Evan, sorry.
Real fast, you guys. I want you guys all. I know we got a bunch of new listeners now. I want you guys to subscribe. Make sure you guys have all subscribed to our YouTube channel. You know, the Addicted Lives, and for those of you guys that are tuning in, because I saw some people tuning in from Michigan, all that crap. Go back to episode number 29. Go back to episode number 29 of The Addicted Life and check out one of these robust fishery rivers that actually have a bunch of fish. Go back and check out episode, I think 26, was it? Was it Bex? 27. We've done some of these programs that highlight a lot. Yeah, so go to the one that says Cameron catches a giant. Can somebody pull that up and tell me what episode that is? Because we actually get ODF&W explaining a little bit more of the nuts and bolts of like what they actually do with the fish in that episode, you guys. So we're trying to put these guys out. Go to episode 29 for a lot of fun to see a lot of fish get whacked. But go to that other Cameron catches a giant. Somebody? Anybody? Wow. Working on it. I'll give you that number and check it out. We actually get
Sal. Thanks, dude.
Hey, and Sal, yes, thank you. But yeah, check that out. I want to touch. We'll give you that episode number here in a second. I want to touch 2 of those questions real fast.
27.
Episode number 27. Check out episode number 27 and check out episode number 29. 29. Patrick Gaffney had a good question that a lot of these broodstock programs that are trying to be implemented are going underground because they don't want. And he's a little bit up north. So I mean, what's this campaigns, this program? You know, people that donate funds and try to get behind it. Like, what are you guys gonna do? What are you guys able to do to stop these wild fish groups from doing this stuff, from taking these programs out?
Well, it's going to depend on the nature of the lawsuit and what kind of actions that they're taking, and then it takes good legal minds to show us what our options are, develop a strategy, and go forward.
And so fundings and donations that are going to be going to this are going to be to actively fight that wherever they pop up, not just.
Well, I'm not saying we're going to take on every single battle out there. We'll pick and choose and make sure that there's going to be some long-lasting benefit from engaging in that particular legal battle.
Right, because once you win a couple, you can set precedent too.
Right.
Interesting. Yeah. What was the other? There was another one.
It costs millions.
Oh, how do you start a broodstock program?
Good question, and that's part of the information that we will make available through the Hatchery Wild Coexist website. So there is a permitting process you have to go through in Oregon. I don't know how it all works in Washington. We're not advocating that you go out and start your own Frankenstein program. Make sure that it is legit.
You could get a lot of trouble playing with the law of wilds.
Exactly.
I saw this. What's the cost? So this is the coolest part. What's the cost per fish in a broodstock program? So not just any broodstock program. Let's just take the one that you're a part of, or like the Tillamook. Like that's.
I wish I knew. I can find out. I don't know.
But where's the funding come to basically put those fish?
It's all state funding.
All state funding.
Yeah, for like the Wilson River and the Stucker River programs. Yeah. But now, the North Coast Salmon and Steelhead Enhancement Fund has paid for a lot of hatchery upgrades, provided a lot of materials and equipment that are needed in order to deal with these broodstocks. They tend to put them in smaller groups, and so there was a lot of work that needed to be done on the actual hatchery facilities to accommodate the broodstock programs. And a lot of times that's the pushback that you'll get from your agency. They'll say, we'd really like to do that, but we don't have the money to do this, that, and the other thing.
Would those broodstocks programs exist without
Not
basically guys like you, North Coast Rendezvous, right? Is that
right?
Going out there and basically
Would-
supplying the funding for
Would they exist? That's a real good question. I don't know if they would exist or not, but they wouldn't exist and be as successful as they are today without the support of the North Coast Rendezvous.
and which is all sportsmen and industry and
Yeah, and we just had a great event on the Smoltz this past weekend where a group of guides and sportsmen got together. They're wanting to amplify the broodstock program there. So they had a fundraiser, got that kicked off. Great event, caught a few fish. Conditions were rough, but that's the kind of grassroots effort that it's going to take to make this work. And our goal is to provide the information, the science that's needed to justify what we think is the right thing to do, and develop the funds to make it happen. What are you laughing at?
apparently Jason says that Jordan's hair is on point.
There's been a nice
I was not
little
playing. I was
string going
actually
here.
looking through questions. I'm like, okay, serious question, good comment, serious question. Kanigi's hair is on point. Yes, it is.
All right.
Anyways, okay. All right, guys. Let's see
So
here.
are there rivers out there currently in the Northwest where anglers could basically rally together and start their own broodstock programs?
I would think absolutely yes. Yeah.
There you go, guys.
Well, it's time and
You really
efforts
wanna do
donated,
something,
and
that's
materials.
what you do.
I think what you got to do, I think you change it. You change the narrative first. Like you do exactly what these guys are doing. You get everybody on the same page. You get 95% of sportsmen advocating for it. That pushes up to the legislative levels. That pushes up through the state departments. That starts. You start this exactly where it started. But then when those opportunities arise, the groundwork is set.
Yeah.
You guys have the blueprints for a successful broodstock program,
Yes.
successful fishery.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, what it comes down to, and I think to kind of jump on the side of the Anti Hatchery Groups and turn around and shove it boing splat right to them, I guess, is not every river should be pumped full of these broodstock hatchery fish. But what these rivers that do offer is the fact that the rivers that don't have these hatchery fish, that don't need them, there's some of the most pristine water in the world in Canada and Alaska that get 500 steelhead back. It never will get more, it never will get less. That's how much room there is for steelhead on that river to spawn. And that's the way it always
But
will
they
be.
also don't have a take fishery
Exactly.
involved with us.
Well, that, and then
So
you
that
bring
too.
bring it back into proportion. Not every single river around should have this, but ones that do have development, that do have a mass sport fishing following, or a commercial fishery, or anything like that. These fish are so important in that regard because they're the only chance the fish have. And once those fish are existent and they're out in the ocean being eaten by sea lions and whales before that wild fish is, because that wild fish may just be that much more superior to those hatchery fish, if in their opinion, those fish make it back to their stream, and they make it back to their wild beds, to their small stream that goes up Southwest Washington that doesn't have a lot of homes on it or development, and those wild fish survive with the benefit and the help of these hatchery fish, so these broodstock fish. So let that be known, everybody. We don't need these everywhere, but there are so many crucial areas right now in Southwest Washington and in Oregon that need them to save those wild fish. So keep that in mind. Don't go throwing and wasting time on small streams and creeks that really is not going to benefit the sport fishery or the wild fish. Look at these areas like these big rivers that we all fish and have been major fisheries for years, and put those efforts forth to help those rivers out first.
Yeah, so Brian made a point, or or made the suggestion that more people are fishing today than ever before. That's not true.
That's not even close to true.
If you look at the numbers of
Not even
licenses
close.
being sold, that's on a decline. It's been on a decline for a large number of years. So
But
fewer
the
fishing.
reason why the perception's out there is because there's a lot less places
Right.
to fish. So everyone.
Right. So I was going to make the point. If there's a downside to this, if we're successful, and I have every expectation that we will be, there are going to be more fish, there's going to be more abundance, and there are going to be more people fishing. So if there's a downside, that's it.
But without
there's a way to
without
do it
fishermen,
right.
without
Right.
fishermen,
Yep.
we have no fish.
I saw this. I wanted to go on a major rant. I guess this is the time for it. But
Yeah.
I hadn't been on my home water in about a week. I'd been going around fishing different rivers and guiding all over the place. And I came home and I went to all my holes, and they're all full of garbage. And it just blew my mind. It's like I'm down there all the time looking at these spots and spending a lot of time on the river. And I come back and there's sand shrimp containers and there's bottles of Fireball laying all over the place and there's line and just a mess. You guys, this is what got us to this point. Okay, everybody needs to take it upon themselves to be responsible and give back and love Mother Nature, because it's not going to give back to you and nobody else is going to give to you if that's how you're going to treat it. So taking the utmost care of the surroundings around you and those rivers and those hatchery holes. That's why we lost all this, because these anti-hatchery groups went down the river on their guided trip and looked at the bank and said, we should just try to eliminate those guys. So that's where we stand an opportunity, is by being classy and by being sportsmen and giving back to the river more than just trying to take. These fish aren't going to be put back in the river
Help the wild
once they're
fish, don't hurt
successful. They're not going to be put back in the river so we can just rape and pillage. It's going to be put back in the river so that it will help. And this is the point, to help these wild fish and to help these fisheries by taking care of them and cleaning up after yourselves on the river. So, wanted to go on that rant. Sorry.
Good rant.
Pick up after
Exactly.
yourselves. And
Preach,
help the-
Jordan. Amen.
Yeah. And take care of the river.
He's got the hair going on.
Yeah.
Right on.
Hey, shout out to Brady. Thanks so much for the super chat, buddy.
Brady, thank you very much for the super chat. One other quick question I saw someone ask, well, what about CCA? Like, this is not, the one thing that, and I don't think that this was your intention. I can't remember who asked this. We're all spokes to the wheel, right? We need advocacy. We need people getting into the sport. We need these guys fighting this. We need these guys fighting this. We need these guys fighting this. Like, I'm not saying by any means at all that everybody drop support for any group that you're doing and jump in here and do that. Support the groups that you need, that you need to support, that we all need to support. We all am I a CCA member? Absolutely. Absolutely. Will I still support them? Absolutely.
how he does that.
Absolutely. I mean, don't think that this is drop everything and jump in this bucket and make it like this. No. These are I would say they're completely different
Yeah.
campaigns, different
Exactly.
programs, but we need to be involved with everything.
Yeah, CCA is involved from the standpoint that they provided some of the seed money to get the campaign started. Both the North Coast Salmon and Steelhead Enhancement Fund and CCA kicked in the money that we needed to put together the website, to prepare brochures like this, to print stickers and all that sort of thing. And CCA is sponsoring, they're a supporter of the campaign,
Just like we are.
but it's not a CCA campaign.
Yeah. And I mean, like you said, I saw some other questions. I can't remember who was asking about like the Cathlamet channel. What the heck is the word I'm looking for? Where they're sorting the fish out there. Like, that's not an issue that this campaign is
Right. Right.
like going to be focused on or looking
Yeah,
at.
we're not about
This-
how the fish are being harvested.
Focus on getting fish back.
Focused on
The water.
abundant and healthy fisheries.
There we go.
That's what it's all about.
nobody can
Not
argue
who
with.
catches them and how.
Yep. All right, guys. I think how many people do we have still watching this thing? A lot. Okay. Oh wow, even more. I don't know, man. Do you just keep talking? Keep firing some questions, guys. Because I don't think
Lay 'em on us.
we're not going Facebook Live tonight just because Facebook sucks and it's not working.
So
Take that, Zuckerberg.
Corey actually says that the rant was more on point than your hair.
I saw that.
Giddy
I
up.
was giggling.
How about that?
I think we need to do a giveaway. All you guys have stuck through, so let's do this. Let's give me a giveaway.
We got
Give
stickers.
me. Hey, how about this?
We're going to go to break while I put a giveaway together.
We're going to go to break. We're going to do a great giveaway. We're going to talk a little bit more about that. Fire up some good questions, guys. We don't get the opportunity much to get this guy in here. We're going to get him in here more, though, for us because he's the guru. But let's do that.
We're going to pick the winner based off the best question we find.
Wow. We're going to play ball tonight.
The
All right.
best question we find, that's how we're picking the winner. It's not going to be random. I'm going to be the
Judge, jury, and executioner. Yep. Awesome. All right, guys, we'll be right back. Give us a moment. Go.
Hey, what's up all you fishing freaks? I'm Eric Swanson with Eric Swanson Outdoors. Welcome to Addicted Fishing. Today I'm going to talk about how to read water and find fish in a giant river system. When you first get out to a big body of water like this, it can sometimes be really difficult to read the water and figure out where to fish. But a big thing you can do is come out on a low tide, and that's where you can usually see the rocky structures, the logs, the drop-offs a little bit better when that water's lower. Reading water in a big river system like this can oftentimes be very tough. A big piece of equipment that'll help you out is having a good quality fish finder that you can find structure and find ledges with. Salmon and steelhead, as they're swimming up the river, really relate to the bottom, and they relate to the ledges and the shelves and the drop-offs. So by having a good piece of electronics like this, definitely is going to cut down the amount of days you spend out here not catching fish. Time of year and water temperature play a huge factor in where these fish are going to be at. For example, during the summer months, the fish are trying to find that colder water, which tends to be more towards the middle of the river in that shipping channel. By using the GPS on your electronics, you can find out where that deeper water is. In the wintertime, the water is much colder, so those fish tend to be a little bit shallower. In a large river system like this, the tides and the water conditions play a huge factor in where you find the fish and how you fish for them. For example, in the springtime when there's a lot of snow melt and a lot of water coming over the dam, the fish are going to kind of get out of that current and be closer towards the shoreline. And also in the springtime, the water conditions can vary. It can be really dirty and really clear. And if it's really dirty, for example, you would want to anchor fish.
Okay, apparently a lot of you guys didn't like Eric, so here's a little addicted bite for you.
Woo, yeah. Woo, that was a freaking tank. Oh my god! Woo! It's a beast. Got a double!
Look at this perfect specimen.
It's probably one of the most amazing fishing days I've ever had in my entire life.
Hey all you addicts out there, welcome to another episode of Addicted Life. Today it's really dark, but we are in the great state of Georgia. We're going to do some steelhead fishing. Apparently our good friend Marlon came down here a little while ago and found some epic fishing, and
You're back.
oh, all right guys, so we got it figured out. I think I've got a really cool prize for you guys that stuck through us, but we're gonna make you guys do a couple things for us. First off, we've got some questions we want to answer, but right now I want to make sure that you guys have gone to the Facebook page of Hatchery Wild Coexist.
Right. No
That's
dashes in that
super
one.
important. Hatchery Wild Coexist. Give them a like. Then I want you to go to their
Don't
website.
just give them a like. Turn on the notifications.
Don't give them a like,
so-
but start looking there. You guys,
Search
we're
your
getting
little
this thing up and running. We're
See
helping
first.
these guys. They're helping us. We're going to get this thing rolling. But let's just start with that. Go, give them a like. Yeah, are you pulling that up? Oh, in a second? Okay. He's going to pull it up here so you guys can see it. I want you guys to go start there. Then you guys need to go to www.hatchery-wild-coexist.com. Pull up there, bud. Can you let me know when you got it there? And go and put your name and your email and register there. Just let them know that you're listening. There's going to be some things coming out here in the next little bit that are going to be
Got some
getting
exciting stuff coming your way.
Get some people
Yep.
more involved, but just for right now, ground level, guys. Just you guys talking, and then I want you guys to make sure you go to your social media outlets. I want you to share this live feed, but I also want you to Marlon just said subscribe. Subscribe, but share out the Hatchery Wild Coexist Facebook page. We need to build a little bit of a platform there, so when we launch all the other stuff, we've got all you guys out there. And like I said, that's what we're trying to do right now, is just get people a little more paying attention and get people involved, and then change the narrative. So Phil Hildemarath, that was episode on Georgia. That was episode 29. But go watch episode 27 first. All right, let's get to some questions, and then how many questions you want to do? Just a few, and then we're gonna give away cold water, guys. Would you like that cold water? No, no cold water for you. This is for one of you guys. The Kuma cold water, brand new, left-hand retrieve. Look at that in the box.
But there is a stipulation.
Ooh.
You have to go and like that page.
Yeah.
So we're going to see our viewership go down, but you better come back if you want a chance to win it. So
Open
go
another
give
web
that
browser.
page a like on Facebook. Just minimize your YouTube. You can come right back to us.
Like I said, this is how these things start, guys. Talking grass.
Look,
level.
he's going to even look at it real time and make
I
sure
am,
you
I'm
guys
checking.
are liking
Oh,
that page.
that's right. We
175.
can check that out, can't we?
Yeah, we can keep an eye on it. We know where we started, and
You
we
don't even
know
have to
where.
leave. Use your other device.
Yeah,
Yeah. We all know you guys got 15 screens out in front of you.
And make sure you're a subscriber, because we're going to pick a winner from... You got to be a subscriber,
So
so
Jeff-
be one of our YouTube subscribers. For
Jeff
sure.
Berthius. So what are the chances of the Addicted team doing a Broodstock program? I think with 25,000 plus followers, try 200,000. But anyways, in the right program, you can get a lot of participation and support. Addicted Broodstock, dude, on the radar, like that. But that would
That
be
will
just
happen.
one little. That will happen, guaranteed. But this is also setting the groundwork for that.
Right.
Right. So, this is where the sportsmen need to be paying attention to and getting involved and talking about. So
We've
anyway,
got to change
soon.
that narrative, because right now, if you go talk to your legislators, you go
Yeah,
talk
there
to
you
your agency folks, they're going to tell you hatchery fish are bad, and we know hatchery fish are not bad. We've got to change that narrative. Start at the bottom. We're going to work our way up, and we're going to change the game big time.
Tangent. The other day I'm guiding and a gal walks up to the riverbank that owns the property and
Let me stop.
Go ahead,
Jordan, I'm
go
going to
ahead.
stop you.
That's
Sean,
all right.
no, I know you said you've been subscribed since day one 5 years ago or so. I think you're referring to go to Hatchery Wild Coexist on Facebook.
Yeah.
Sorry. Just want to make sure that wasn't it, because 5 years kind of rung a bell. Go on.
this older gal comes down and we're, the guys are fishing and I start saying hi to her and introducing myself, and her first question is,
How'd you grow that hair?
yeah.
Listen to this guy.
Oh, never mind. My story's
Hey,
done.
Jordan's done.
But she goes, are there a lot of wild fish in the river? And I just was like, oh my god. And I was like, yeah, there's so many you wouldn't believe it.
Right on, Josh.
That's not
but
bad. They built a new home.
that's just it,
But
like
no,
that's that
this is
narrative,
perception
everybody.
for you. They built a new home on one of the rivers I rafted, and I went by the lady and I told her, I'm like, I love your house. I'd love you. They built a beautiful house right on the riverbank, development. She asked me, hey, when did the seals come up here?
looking
And
forward.
I kind of looked at her and I go, well, we just hope we don't see them up here. But
They make it this far, they leave it a little heavy.
yeah, that kind of tells you a little bit like, you just bought a house over those popular fishing rivers, like anywhere, and you wanted to know when the seals are going to show up.
the
No
Facebook
one's going to like you.
the Facebook page is Hatchery Wild Coexist.
Keep telling them they have to do that to get
Yep, you have to do that. We're going to check on you. We're going to make sure. Are you
Get
wanna
it going.
You want to start checking?
The
There's some good
web page,
questions
the web page is www.hatchery-wild-coexist.com.
Marlon laughs every time we say the website. We will change the website.
But don't
That's
spell
what it
out
is.
dash. Just put in the dash, right?
There you
Up there,
go.
up there.
There we go. There it is.
There it is.
There
Thanks, Dakota.
Perfect.
Just leave that up there.
Just leave that up there for a
Yes.
minute. Yeah.
So everybody knows how to spell
So I can
it.
remember who I am.
Awesome, guys.
I'm bringing a wig next
We
time.
need you guys to do this. We need you guys to do this.
You're
Just
just
start
like
doing
Wayne's
it.
World.
And you know what? You guys have been putting out on that Facebook page too. You guys have been putting out some great memes and great stuff. Kind of trying to grab
Love
those
them.
and share them, guys. Grab them and put those out. They're sitting there for you. Just share some of the questions that they've put up. They've made some good memes for you guys. Take them. Start throwing that stuff around. I was gonna say a bad word, but yeah. So Start doing that. Yep. If wild fish are endangered, can you still create a broodstock program? The question, Justin, should be, if wild fish are endangered, should we create a broodstock program?
Yes.
Yes. Don't put all your eggs in one basket.
Yeah, so, and there's a question there about a Washington chapter. So the goal of this campaign is to be regional. So we've got folks right now in California, Alaska, British Columbia, Washington, Oregon, Idaho, all involved and interested in this campaign. And our goal is to make it fit all of those places. So if you have something specific to the area where you live that you're lacking and you need, there's a contact portion on our webpage, and just send us the question, and we'll do everything we can to get it answered for you as quickly as possible.
Highlight that question for me, please.
Yeah, it's a great question.
This is a great question, and I love.
This could be the winner?
No, it's a good one.
Ooh.
Do you think there will ever be a day when hatcheries and wild fish ever truly coexist? By this I mean, will there ever be a day it doesn't matter if fish are clipped or not? As far as numbers returning to the stream, and I think until you wipe Portland, Seattle, Tacoma, Olympia, and all of the stuff off the map, you've got to supplement what we have done. And just the fact that we've put that development on those rivers. So no, unfortunately, I don't foresee a time, right?
Well, they are coexisting today, and
They are coexisting, but I'm saying,
and they've coexisted for decades.
Where that's asking.
Meaning on the tribal rivers, you can kill any fish that you catch. You bring to the bank, it's yours.
I've said it for years, the ignorance behind the wild fish group thing, and a lot of it is because the people who are involved want us to go home to New York or wherever they're from with a picture of a fish with a fin on it. It's like, do we really have to go that far to just stop clipping them and everybody will shut up? Because I literally think it could be that simple at times, you know? They just want to see that fish unclipped. It's hard to say, though. I don't think anybody in the next 15 years will let go of trying to support an actual, truly wild fish.
I like Shane's question. Somebody tell me why this doesn't make sense. You can roll with it. I'm in. Exactly. Just roll with it. It does make sense. It makes too much sense. Like you said, I think it just comes down to money, and I think a bunch of people missing the ball. Anyways.
And Josh, the answer to your question is that the goal behind the campaign is to put solid, factual information out there for folks to know and understand what the issues are. We're not competing, but we are providing the other side of the story. So stories are like pancakes; they got two sides.
The side that you want to be on. Let's just say that.
Well, and the wild fish only groups have done a good job of marketing their position, and this is a campaign that's giving the other side of the story.
Yeah. Will there ever be a volunteer program for us regulars who would like to help? Right now, if you want to help, do those things. Go to the website, register, share it out, tell your friends, blah, 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 blah. Push it out there. Share those memes. Like, this is how things like this start right now. But this time we're just going to use a lot of social media to do it.
Yeah, but we are collecting those names. So
and thank you to Go to the Zimmerman for the super chat. We appreciate it.
Yeah, so when you subscribe to the webpage, then you're on a list. And we have those opportunities come forward, we will be contacting you to help.
And we missed the super chat. And Spencer, we're going to make this a quick answer, but we appreciate it. What is it? Use triangle 360 in a terminal fishery. I don't really know what he means by the terminal fishery.
Use triangle verse 360.
In a terminal fishery.
Tournament?
Terminal.
Like when you're going to kill him? Like...
I mean, if we're talking like for spring Chinook.
Like way upriver? Is that what he means? Like where you're
Spencer, clarify that and we'll get back to it.
Yeah.
Okay. Larry, okay, send me the cold water. What's your question, Larry? I don't know if I saw it on there. Yep. Let's see here. Why am I paying for the Columbia River endorsement? Yeah, that's a whole. We don't have.
Because right now the law requires you to.
There you go.
There's the short answer.
How about that? How many? Okay.
The more difficult one is what are you getting back for it? Yeah.
Nothing.
But since he didn't ask it, we won't answer.
Yeah, we won't answer that one. That's perfect. How many smolts do you get out of a broodstock pair on average? So big, healthy, 10, 12 pound hen.
You tell me. You're the guy with the fisheries background.
I'd say about what, 2 to 2,500 eggs.
2,000 is kind of what I've always been
for
told.
a big, above average, you know.
Ready to go.
Chunky hen. I like that. Don't call them fat. Hurts their feelings. They
They're more
thick.
beautiful than that.
Yep. We should get them up to 100,000 subscribers. That's right, Levi. We should.
Yes.
We should get us up. We should get us up to 100,000. Don't forget us. Don't forget us, little folk.
Yeah, them first.
Yep.
Facebook
so
link is up there as well, people.
Facebook link is up there. Very cool. Thank you.
We're having a hard time.
Yep. How do we get the massive fish kill that occurred in the Minter Creek hatchery from happening again? I think that's a big part. So one thing you guys have done with some of the funds that you guys have raised with the Fish Enhancement
North Coast Salmon and Steelhead Enhancement Fund.
Yeah, is you went to these hatcheries and you upgraded some of their facilities, and you've done that. You to protect those fish, obviously, and expand on it.
So really, the two options you have is to get the state where you're paying your dollars right now to support and upgrade those facilities, or we've had these fundraisers where we've developed a fund specifically for those kinds of purposes. Those are really the two options. Or you can write a hell of a big check. That'll work too.
Yeah. We got to have some billionaires. Is Bill Gates out there watching tonight? Look it up, buddy. Everybody email Bill Gates.
Willie.
Wait, what were you saying?
Chunky, not fat. Straighten it up. Got to be politically correct. Got to be politically correct here.
Shout out to the super chat.
Oh, yeah. Dwayne and Katrina Larson, thank you very much. We appreciate the super chat. But if you guys do super chats, you're supposed to ask questions with it. Then we can kind of engage in that. But if you don't want to, if you just want a super chat for super chatting, thank you. We appreciate it.
Josh,
Making it rain.
Making it rain up in here.
Josh, we're focused on hatcheries, and we're not getting into the sea lion issue. So that's
and like I said, but there's a lot of great organizations that have interjected into the sea lion issue, and we need to support them too.
Yep.
Legislatures and everybody, Congress folk.
Thank you, William.
There was a question about the Leeburg hatchery. The hearing went really well today. There was about 150 to 200 sportsmen showed up there today to voice their support for the Leeburg hatchery. We rocked the Capitol in Salem today.
How come the runs have been declining ever since Broodstock program started? With the old stock, the runs were always good no matter what the ocean conditions were the last 50 years. That's a very jaded question because even though broodstock programs have started, they haven't been everywhere.
Are so minimal.
The numbers have been down, and even 50 years ago versus now are two probably different situations.
We're talking millions
with the amount of development because
millions of smolts difference.
Tell me,
in that number.
There was what was that statistic on the old W? That how many smolts did they used to plant? What was the take 1 year that those guys used to do? Give me what was that?
The old dummy. So it was like 500,000 fish that they'd put in there, and it would rock for about 2 weeks. So they'd start coming in at Thanksgiving, but by Christmas they're done and over with. So now we're down to 150,000 in the plant, and they're broodstock fish, so you get a higher percentage of return, but nowhere near what we were getting back in those days when they're planting 500,000 fish, and on an up year when you got excellent conditions, that thing was crawling with fish. Even I could catch them back then.
And so Steve,
without
to answer
hair.
your question,
Back then I had hair.
Broodstock programs have started, but they are compared to what we were doing back then.
Yeah.
And even though when we were doing this, the rate of return was tiny on those.
Right.
If we could get the broodstock programs to this,
boom,
we wouldn't be having this conversation in slow years.
I have a question.
Yes, Marlon.
Is there any chance that we could use some of this information to fight these wild gene bank rivers that have been put in Southwest Washington and basically destroyed multiple fisheries that we all grew up?
I think the case is set. Absolutely. Those wild gene bank rivers in Southwest Washington, as you know, have been decimated the last 3 years.
Yeah.
With numbers. And
what we don't want are wild fish museums.
We all live.
That's what they're trying to do.
Right.
Yeah. No, I think there's
we need
a
to
case
change
there.
the narrative.
Yep. Don't go Not the state level.
Abundant and healthy fisheries. Fisheries, that means you're actually there, you're participating, not just looking at it.
I don't think the broodstock program died off. I think basically how we were stocking fish died off because as we kept continuing to procreate those hatchery fish, the rate of return got worse and worse. And so you'd put out all these fish, but you'd only get a tinier and tinier and tinier percentage back. So you could see the writing on the wall.
And this is where the states pulled that money. They saw it wasn't working as well, saw it was inefficient, and they pulled back.
Typically, it doesn't.
I was laughing.
So Pat, the answer to your question is typically raising broodstock fish in the hatchery is not more expensive. We did talk about some of the modifications that they need to make to hatcheries, but for the most part, that's a one-time investment. So raising.
So if someone could pay, what could you give me a? I mean, obviously it's going to be completely different for every hatchery in every situation.
Right.
How much money went into the? Was it a lot? Millions?
No,
Not millions.
not millions.
If it's not millions, we got this.
Yeah,
Right?
tens of thousands.
Tens of thousands of dollars, and then you got that fishery.
Right.
That's aggravating.
Crickets.
Aggravating. That's all I got to say to that. Yep. Incredible. Let's see here.
Broodstock programs, you can develop them very quickly once you actually get all the permits in place, get the agencies to sign off on them. But that process can take a long time.
Okay, riddle me this. This is total. Now I don't know. I'm gonna muddy the waters. Hell with it. We got a moment. I heard though what the level. So you have a wild run and you want to broodstock that wild run. Right. Walk with me here, folks. So you take the percentage out that you're going to take to the hatchery. But according to, I guess it'd be kind of like the federal regulations, NOAA, NIMS, whatever. Those fish you took out of that population to bring to hatchery, you had to consider those impact or take.
Right.
But since now you guys are strip spawning them and you put those wild fish back, is it true that those still get considered as take? Or are the gloves off on that now? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know.
Because like they say, okay, you can impact the wild run like 2% or 6% or something like that.
Yeah.
But if you're technically not taking the fish and they're surviving through the spawning process, theoretically you could take half of them. Right?
It's a good theory.
It's a great theory.
I don't know the answer to the question.
I heard that was supposedly like some big revelation.
We'll have to tap into Jack on that one. He's the guy.
Yeah,
who has those kind of
I forgot to ask him about that on Monday.
Yeah.
Anyways, so if any of you guys have the answer,
Godfather,
Kevin, Evan,
Godfather
anybody?
of the broodstock programs.
Yeah.
Red tape. Yes, there's a lot of it. Anytime you're dealing with the bureaucracy, there's red tape.
So my local river in 2015 did its broodstock in 2015. In 2018, 27 returned to the hatchery, and this year 0 fish returned as of today. The 20 years prior, the run averaged 800 to 3,000 fish. So I already know. I think I know exactly what you're talking about, Steven. That run is not. They are starting a broodstock program, but I believe he's talking about the old cow tits, and that's been a hatchery procreated run forever. Like, I don't think that they are starting, they're calling it like integrated broodstock. They're trying to get those rate of return numbers up, and but because I don't think that they were on the ball and they did it soon enough, we're seeing basically, because they took away all those million, fish plants. So I think that's what you're talking about, but no, I don't think there's been
more than 27 returned to that hatchery this year.
Return to the hatchery, and this year
It's
0.
not the
Oh,
same
okay,
river.
it's not the
What
same
river?
one.
Just tell us what river, dude. We're
Yeah,
not gonna be able to give you
Steven,
information.
I took a shot at that one, but
Steven, sorry.
and
dude.
my guess, the 20 years prior, the run averaged 800 to 3,000. They were probably putting $500,000. They were probably putting a lot of smolt in there. So we're gonna have to.
We need to know a little more about that one.
Has there ever been let's just answer the elephant in the room kind of question here. Has there ever been a broodstock program that they've tried to put in somewhere that has basically been unsuccessful?
No.
Like they basically because you're taking the fish that are naturally genetically wired to do well there, because if they don't do well there, well then they're dead, and they don't do well there. Right. So you're taking those fish that are adapted. They're meant to be there.
Yeah.
And you're taking those fish in hatchery. You're not taking fish out of another river and putting them there and hoping they survive. So, like I said, has there ever been a broodstock program that has not been successful?
Not that I'm aware of. And actually what the science is showing is those broodstock programs, properly implemented and managed, actually benefit those wild fish numbers. So if you've got a situation where you're basically don't have any wild fish left, broodstock programs are being used to increase the numbers of those wild fish over time.
Super chat.
Local Willamette trib, he says.
Marlon, is he talking Summers?
Probably the S. Or one of the S's.
Local
Well,
Willamette,
regardless,
yeah.
he's saying they were planning 120,000. Now they're planning 100,000.
But they're not. There's no way those are all. Well, they may be. I don't know. I don't know, but should they be planning 100,000? But why are they planning 100,000? Because they can't put hatchery fish because the hatchery fish are bad, or should they be doing 500,000? You know what I'm saying?
But what he's
I
saying,
don't
though,
understand,
is that
though.
the broodstock program on his river hasn't done anything. In fact, it's made it worse. Is what he's trying
If
to
he's
say.
talking,
If he's talking
a
this-
Willamette trib, then it's completely out of the question because they can't make it over the falls, and they haven't in 5 years. They just been
No.
getting munched on.
Is he talking?
No.
There was one river. Okay, we'll
He
just
said a
say-
Willamette trib, so
Oh, Willamette trib. Dude, give us some more, bud. We'll find out. Super chat. Any chance of getting hatchery fish back on the East Fork?
Well-
What are your options? Thoughts?
Here, I'm going to answer that question. There's like 500 East Forks in the state of Washington
Right.
and in Oregon.
Right.
So
Yeah.
if you want clarification on that, you're going to have to PM me.
Oh, there you go.
To
Well
Marlon
played.
and I, that is the
That is the ultimate goal.
that is the ultimate goal.
Like that is
And not really. And you know,
absolutely what we
okay.
will try to do.
Here's another question. Have you ever broodstock program where you've collected fish from the river and you don't clip them? Let's say you want to just have a robust, and you feel like, okay, the wild numbers aren't that strong, but if you put more fish in there, it'd at least be a robust wild fishery. Like, let's talk about maybe not killing them all, or at least to get it started, to get the wild numbers up.
that's what I've always said. If you're gonna play
Certainly an
God, you
option.
might as well do it all the way.
Well,
You know what
fair
I mean?
enough. But what I'm saying, I mean, for that river, I mean, why not take 50 pairs, and then you go and you don't clip them,
Right.
and you let them go back to the ground, and you get the numbers up, and then you can take, and then you grow your take fishery.
Yeah, I think it depends on what your management goal is, what you're trying to achieve, and depending on what that is, that might be an option. I'm not aware of that happening, but I wouldn't be surprised if it has.
I mean, you're actually utilizing that. Use the hatcheries to actually help the wild fish. Yeah,
Yeah.
Because I mean, ultimately, it'd be cool to kill fish on that river, but ultimately, I would just like to see the numbers back up to where they were, the wild numbers up to where they were 10, 15 years ago.
We need that abundance.
We need that abundance. Then you can take from that abundance.
And I will argue, anyone that wants to try to argue with me on that, those hatchery fish were spawning on that river for years.
Oh, yes. Well,
and they
put 260,000. Where the hell do you think they went?
They were adding an insane amount of fish, returning back to that river. Those hatchery fish were spawning successfully in the gravel, and there was way more fish returning.
Yeah,
And it was funny
way
because
more fish.
I caught a whole bunch of 6-pound wilds.
Way more fish.
Well, and that's one of the arguments that the wild fish advocates will say, that the hatchery fish are actually competing for spawning gravel with the wild fish, and it's been shown that that's not necessarily the case. If there is capacity left in the river, then the hatchery fish will take up that capacity.
The wild fish will spawn in the best spots.
Right, the wild fish are going to
regardless.
spawn, but if there's room still available, then the hatchery fish will take up that room. So what you're doing is getting maximum production out of that piece of water. And if you do get offspring back from those hatchery fish,
Doesn't hurt
that's
you
a
anyway.
bonus.
It's a bonus.
Well, especially when you're using a broodstock.
Right.
And what about a river that doesn't have the capacity? So there's a river in my neck of the woods that's only 12 miles long.
So if it doesn't have the capacity, you get the hatchery fish back. What have you got? Abundance. So there's your fishing opportunity right there. No downside. No downside.
Shout out. I don't see it anymore, bud. Oh, there it is. Oh, okay. How can us Great Lakes guys help our Pacific Northwest brothers, others, than by sharing that page? I think right now, change the narrative, get the word out, share, donate. You guys
Donate.
have a donate button
Yep.
as well.
We do.
We're going to, I think as you see this campaign kind of roll, we'll ask for membership. You'll see it kind of grow, and you'll see where it goes, guys.
We'll be making announcements every Wednesday.
This is level 1.
This is level 1.
We're taking
guys.
it to 10.
And level 1 is literally change the narrative.
Change the
Just
narrative.
get anyone that tries to tell you that hatchery fish are bad, look them in the face and tell them why they're not, and just argue that to the death. And when next step comes, we'll let you guys know when that needs to happen.
We all know everybody's looking for the next big thing to argue about, so here it is.
Hatcheries.
But how can any sportsman that wants a fish to catch, wild or not, wild or hatchery?
I want to say it again. Not even the sportsman.
I mean, who wants to
change
give a river
everybody's.
steelhead anyways? It
Change
takes, like-
everybody's idea.
Dude, you know what our next YouTube video is?
What?
We're gonna go down
Oh,
to the
please.
offices of
Oh,
NFS,
yes.
and we'll set up a table with a sign that says "Hatchery fish are good for the rivers. Change my mind." And we'll sit in front of their office and just let people try to debate us.
Yes.
That'd be crazy.
Yes, let's do that, dude.
I know somebody that would volunteer to sit at that table.
Oh my God! Yes, we're doing it.
Over 200, share it out, pump the contest.
Thank you guys.
We're gonna give you guys a reel tonight.
We got a real cold water right here, boys and girls. Wow. We appreciate you guys, and you know what? This is great because, like I said, the more
Almost
you
2
guys,
hours.
listen, we're gonna help us. You guys are gonna help us. Everyone's gonna help. This is what needs to happen. So let's see here. They had a lawsuit on hatchery seal. They released 100% on our local lakes. We are losing our runs. Yeah, Joey, you're losing your runs. And guess what? When you don't go to fish that river because you don't have steelhead, you show up to a river that does have steelhead. That's the other thing. Okay, one guy, this is another one. So you want to be a wild fish guy, right? You want to protect the wild fish. I get it. You want to throw the spay rod and get a tug once a day. Fine. If you get rid of all those hatchery fish, where are all those people fishing? Where are they all fishing? Like, I know one guy who I was telling him about this, where he was like, I am 100% backing you guys, broodstock every single freaking river, because the one little stream, wild stream that he wants to fish, he wants it all to himself. And he's right, because he has said that over the last 4 to 5 years, as those hatchery runs have just gone to, more people have shown up, and guess what they're doing? They're catching those wild fish.
Yeah.
Not to say that catching them is bad, because one thing that's really cool about this program is that when we catch those wild fish in the Wilson and they put those fish in the hatchery, what's their mortality rate? It's extremely, it's no less than the fish that come in that are via trap or via truck.
Zero.
So basically what we're seeing is sport mortality. The one thing that this study and this broodstock program is showing us is that sport mortality doesn't mess up the fish at all.
Very
But
Maybe
with
a
that
couple
said,
fish statewide.
Properly handled.
properly
Properly
handled. Yes, properly handled.
Dragging them up in the trees and picking them up by their gills. Not a good
We're
thing.
all about that. We make a net for that, damn it. But yeah,
very
so
nice
think
net.
about that. You don't want all these people on your wild streams, well, you better have some hatchery ones, because once those get shut down, they're all coming there. All coming to the wild streams.
It's the truth.
You know what I'm talking about, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
He's like, I will help you tooth and nail, and I'll never fish it.
Yeah.
He's like, I'll go back to my wild stream. Yep, I don't blame him. Yep. Awesome,
Oregon
guys.
Coast.
I'm so excited that there's so many people excited about this. This is by far, like, you guys, for you guys out there, thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you guys for talking. You're right, 200 people, Sean, is the most people who've you just started the YouTube live feeds. And like you said, we understand that these things are going to get put out there more, and these things, we see how our viewership goes even after we're done live. We'll put these up on YouTube. Make sure you subscribe. Is that what you're gonna say?
I was also going to say, guys, I've been noticing that after these things are not live anymore, a lot of people are watching them. So all you guys watching, if you could share this video out there, because the more people we can kind of educate on this, it sucks that Facebook was broke tonight, because we could have reached a lot more people. So you guys can help us kind of counteract that by taking this YouTube video, share it into Facebook, share it to your Facebook feeds, all your other groups, and just tell people to take notice and go to this page, give it a like, and just take notice.
Take notice, pay
Like,
attention,
share,
let's get
subscribe,
involved.
talk about it over coffee.
Yeah, and we
Tell
appreciate
your
you guys
friends.
letting us know that the
Tell
best
grandma.
way, because I'll tell you what, I've done a lot of bashes, and I've done a lot of, we get 200-300 of you guys showing up these steelhead bashes, and every time we're sitting there, man, we're gonna get something going for you guys. Like, this is, we need the right thing that puts fish in the water, makes robust fisheries, gets anglers involved. This hits all the margins.
Here it is.
Every piece.
Thank you very much,
Every
my friend,
piece.
for your
You
hard
bet.
work.
Absolutely.
Looking forward
Absolutely.
to the future
It's
here.
Good stuff.
Are we got a really giveaway. What the hell? We're like wrapping
Yeah,
this
what's
up. Let's do this. Let's do this,
So
guys.
what's
got
the
it?
winning question?
Yeah, what's the
Marley?
winning question? He's looking right
I'm
now.
literally like trying to because I highlighted the one that you picked, but then I couldn't find it. Do you remember what that guy's name was?
I don't remember.
Now watch the all tell us here real
I-
quick.
Me.
Did you see the one about the Cameron podcast with co-host Cameron?
Christopher, there
I
has
didn't see that. Was that Josh who said that? Come on.
Christopher,
Fine,
there
I'm
has
on.
been some conversation on iFish about this exact topic. So
I'll go put it
it's
on
there.
fish. I got an account.
It's there.
I haven't used it in 10 years. I'll go put it on there. I don't care. Put it on there. Put it on everywhere.
He's
Hold on,
looking.
we're looking at comments, guys. We got a winner. Someone's winning in cold water, man.
Winter chicken dinner.
You guys are all just sticking around for the cold water, aren't you?
Tell him to ask some more questions while I'm finding this one.
Which,
He's going the wrong
Don't worry
way.
about it.
well, if you told me, I could probably tell you who it was.
Eh.
Maybe not. Probably not. Just go to the new questions, Clint. Marlon's got it.
Okay.
Because you're killing our vibe right now, bud.
Everybody wants to see what's going on.
Uh-huh.
Hang in there, everybody. Somebody's
Yes,
about
thank
to
you
win.
guys.
I
You
should
guys.
pick that guy just because I said about Cameron's hilarious.
I want to find out who said it. I missed that comment completely.
You'll have to go back and watch it. It's pinned on the show.
I'm gonna find you, and when I find you, I have a particular set of skills. Yep. Hold on, guys. We're picking a winner. Come
Someone's
on.
asking how they win right now.
Well, you should ask a good question, but you guys, well, screw it. One more reminder: go to Facebook, go to Hatchery Wild Coexist.
Perfect.
And like the page, share their memes, share it to your friends. There's going to be some contests
Yes, there will.
popping up there here really quick. Some really good prizes. There's a lot of industry people that are going to be jumping on board with this, you guys. This is it. This is how you do it. This is how we put more fish in the water. The right way.
It has really been exciting to see the level of support and momentum that this campaign's generated in less than a month. Everybody we talk to, industry folks, guides, anglers, everybody we talk to get excited about this. This is without question our future. So help us spread the word, guys.
Who thumbed down this stream? They did it in the first minute. I don't know who did it, Jim. I think they were playing around though because
bet I know
we were
who it
probably
was.
we were probably late.
I better know who it was for sure.
Yeah,
There's
man.
one guy that was mad in here after, as I'm reading all the comments because he said I promote too much.
Oh well.
Well, I'll do it one
that's
more
how-
time, guys.
Do it again.
ADX20 on Addicted.Fishing. Get 20% off everything on there.
Hey, you know,
Worms included.
We have
so.
to promote those guys because you guys don't realize, like, you've got producers, camera guys. Like, it takes a lot, and those guys.
Yeah,
wanna
we got
support
these
us.
guys that we gotta.
I mean, we don't pay our
Yeah, right.
we don't pay our producer crap because he's worthless.
Yeah.
But our camera guys are really good. Oh,
Cameron's guide,
ooh,
please.
oh, darn it! I want to say it. I want to say that there's going to be a trailer coming out really, really soon for something really, really exciting.
So they're asking about stickers. We do have
Oh, yeah.
stickers. If you go to the website again and get into the information section, contact information, send us your address. We'll send you stickers.
There you go.
And you can do-
They want the word out. However you can do it, guys. Addicted. I like that. Hashtag addicted broodstock. Stay tuned.
Nice. You got it?
Yeah, hang
No,
on.
this
I'll
is
have
the
to
guy
type it in.
right here.
What do we have to do to get Jordan's head shaved live on camera?
Boy, that'd be something. Wouldn't
We
it?
have to raise
Pin him down.
$30 for Hatchery Wild right now. Super chat. Go.
right.
Here we go, buddy. That's
Did you
a,
say 30?
that's all. I wanted to shave his head with a Gerber. It'd be awesome.
$30,000 super chat right now will shave his head on live for YouTube.
How
So,
much of that do I get?
5%.
5%.
Yeah.
I would shave my head for if someone did $30,000. I would shave my head right.
Watch
this
it
second.
just pink.
I would do it. I do. That's a no-brainer.
I'm like 2 days too late for
Yeah,
this.
Clint, sorry, buddy. It's not going to happen.
Come on. Anybody? Watch some guy just goes in there. Here's for Jordan. Here's for Cameron. Damn! I totally did that wrong.
Thanks, Melvin.
We're picking the winner, guys. I promise.
Yeah, the problem is you guys don't get to see the comments for a second.
That's fine.
Everybody's staying by.
I think I know which one you're looking for, Marlon.
Do you know the guy's name? Just come and talk to me.
Hold on. Oh my gosh. I think I know one of the good
Because
questions.
I highlighted it in my phone, and then for some reason I didn't say that.
Oh.
Good stuff.
You know his name?
No, but I can help you look now.
Oh.
I saw that. It was a good one. I know what he's looking. I figured I knew he was looking for. I was very. Give me a second, guys. We're trying to find you. I'm so sorry, you guys. We're not stringing you on for anything else. I promise. It's just. Oh, I'm not even. Oh, there we go.
Yeah.
Who is it? Hold on. It's coming. It's coming. Yes, sir. When is the next bash? Dakota, we don't know. We didn't really want to do Springer bashes. I'll just say it. No, I'm not going to say it. But yeah, I think just stay tuned on that. We're doing them. They're coming. It'll probably be late spring though. Yep.
Okay.
He's there.
There it is.
There it is. Oregon MLG. You had a great question. We appreciate it, guys. Hopefully you went out. I think we're gonna have to confirm with a real name that he went out and liked and shared the page as well before we send it to you. But Oregon MLG, hopefully you're still in here. If you are, give us a shout out. Let us know you're at least listening, but you need to email orders@addictedfishing.com. We've got you at Akuma Cold Water. Orders at addicted.fishing. See, that's why. Anyways,
Here,
yes.
I'll just put
So
it up.
boom.
How about that?
And there's the. So hopefully you're still listening. Congratulations, guys. We appreciate your support. Go to Hatchery Wild Coexist on Facebook. Do the website. Sign up. You're going to be seeing a lot of information coming shortly. What else?
Kevin, I got your contact. Brian, I got your contact. We'll get back to you just as soon as we
Are these
get
guys
home.
asking questions?
Yeah, to a real computer. Yeah, so thank you.
Awesome, guys. Oh, yeah, there you are. Oh, he's there. He's there. Okay, perfect. Congratulations, Oregon MLG. Be sure to order at addicted.fishing. Wait, what happened
He's
now?
gonna scroll back up.
Oh, right there, Sean. Hey, Sean, FYI, that video was not supposed to publish on YouTube. I published it on accident, and then about 298 of you got to see it. So, haha, funny. But that video absolutely looked like a commercial that Jordan filmed. So I was.
What was it? I didn't even see
I was talking about all the Gerber tools that I use, and they're like, "Dude, you can't do that." And I'm like, I literally have all these on me all day. Like, this is what I use. But it was.
You would have had to.
Wait,
it was
hold on.
heavy.
This is a first.
It was
even
Gerber
Marlon thought that it was too much product pushing. That means a lot.
Whatever.
Oh, yeah, it was pretty intense. I just want to get on here and say thanks so much for tuning in with us every single week here on YouTube. Make sure if you don't follow us on all the other platforms, we're on Facebook, YouTube. We put out podcasts on Spotify and iTunes. And tap the subscribe button. Just hang out with us. We're always talking fishing, and we're doing it because we want to hang out with you
Next
guys
week's
and talk
Springers,
fishing.
baby.
Thank you, guys.
Patrick, we got stickers coming your way. Thanks, man.
Yep. Thank you guys for
Thanks for
tuning
tuning in,
in.
fellas.
Subscribe. All
And
that other
ladies.
good stuff later. Turn it off. Turn it off. Turn it off. Turn it off.